Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Westman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us again on another insane, crazy, booze-soaked edition of Crime and Sports. It's always booze. When is it not? But it's only not booze-smoked, booze-soaked when it's crack-smoked. That's the only time it's either booze-soaked or crack-smoked. Crime and Sports. That's our new motto.
Even when they sprinkle just weed into it, there's still a shitload of booze.
There's going to be booze or Coke or something like that. But we have a crazy English nutcase,
fantastic,
alcoholic lunatic, your typical, seems like every English, every British or Australian athlete we do is just a lunatic alcoholic in the streets running amok.
That's basically, that's par for the course
That's
over there. They're all drunk.
Yeah, they are all
They're
drunk.
all
and
pickled.
That's kind of part of this is the whole culture of it. Never mind all
Which
that.
is not negative, by the way. I'm pickled.
That's fine. Yeah, you're having a beer right now.
I'm drinking at the moment.
So that's fine. Guys, thank you so much for your iTunes reviews this week. We appreciate the shit out of that. If you haven't done it yet, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Please show support for the show by going and giving us 5 stars on Apple Podcast or iTunes or whatever the hell you listen on. Give the format.
Yeah, I don't care what you listen on.
It is because
all of them have ratings.
Represent. There's way less of you than the small town murder people. So represent. So show them that you're there and show us that you're there and show us that this is worth spending a shitload of time on. Please, for the love of God, do that. Get on there. Doesn't matter what you say. Tell us you're following instructions, following directions. If you want to show us even more how much you appreciate the show and like to have it come to you, you can do that very easily by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports, or you can head over to PayPal and make a one-time donation using our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. Do all that, or just head over to shutupandgivememurder.com, where you can get all the t-shirts and mugs and bath mats and all that crazy shit that we have there. I don't know what the hell we have. There's all sorts of stuff with all of our sayings on it, so go buy some of that shit. That helps too.
There's new stuff coming up all the time.
New stuff popping up all the time with the new sayings and new things that happen. Do that. Yeah, you can find tour dates on there as well for Small Town Murder, and there's a huge tour coming up, and you can check that out. Crime and Sports people, some of you care. Most of you, about 90% of you, listen to Small Town Murder anyway, so you'll hear that over there, and the rest of you that don't care, fuck it, we're moving on. Anyway, with that said, let's get into this episode.
Our show sounds like a piece of shit, and it is not.
It is not. It's so good, and that's
crush on the charts.
Yes.
We do fantastic.
We do.
It's just shocking how many more listen to.
It's shocking.
Small Town Murder.
Especially when we say you should listen to Crime and Sports. It's just like this.
Right.
It's you don't have to like sports, and they go, I don't really like sports, and they don't listen. You're like, fuck, god damn it, just give it a fucking chance. It's not about sports, you fucking assholes. Jesus fucking Christ! I swear to God, I'm saying this to you people who are listening, so you're not those people. So I don't know why I'm yelling at you about it, but that's the type of fucking mood I'm in, because that's how we. And
live, this show is fucking bananas.
Oh, this show is Crime and Sports
ridiculous.
is absolutely ridiculous live. But guess what? Not enough of you to book a fucking tour. So you could be laughing so hard, but it's not going to happen now. We have like one live show for this, and we can't even tell you about it yet because it's so far in the future, and that's it. And we don't plan on booking any fucking more unless something crazy happens. But Small Town Murder, we can't stop. Fuck, they're coming out of our ass to the point where we can't even keep up with it. No. And so yeah, it's
that one's going worldwide. Like other countries every day begging for us to come there.
Yeah,
never heard a single person from England begging for Crime.
Oh, they ask for it, but we know know that it wouldn't be enough of them, or maybe over there they'd gather it together. I feel like over there they're very hardcore. They'd like drag people there, like, come on, mates, we're going to crime and fucking sports, and they'd be 45 fucking people. Come on,
they get them all shit house. Yeah, be like, let's go.
I'll buy the pints, and then that's it. It's on. They're fucking in there.
Australia, forget it. Buzz would organize the whole country.
I have full faith that Busby would have a full campaign. He'd be going on television like he was running for office. Hello, I'm Mark Busby. Have you heard of crime and sports?
Listen, you bunch of fuckabouts. You're like, get in the tank. We're all going.
Here we are. Speaking of England, our fellow this week is an Englishman.
Yeah.
It is Gary Andrew Charles. Gary Charles is a soccer player. Jimmy's looking at me. I don't know who that is.
No, but
we don't know who he is.
He can't be named Gary Charles.
Gary Andrew Charles. You can mix those up in a bag and throw them back out like dice, and like however they come out. Sure. Charles Gary Andrew.
Whatever.
Great.
Same thing.
Andrew Gary Charles. Great.
Love it.
That's great. Andrew Charles Gary. Fine.
Done.
It's all the same. It doesn't fucking matter. So he's got a grab bag kind of a name. Gary Charles. Apparently over there he's pretty famous. We've gotten so many people asking for this episode.
Really?
The Brits really push hard when they want an episode. Yeah. Which it's cool. I love that. But a ton of people have asked for Gary Charles. Like, this has been a very popular
America
one.
is different than that. I mean, obviously, but in that when an American athlete fucks up, we'll get 3 or 4 notifications.
Yeah.
But when Ben Cousins jams more meth up his ass,
God.
my phone won't shut the fuck up for 10 minutes.
Jesus, it was a Ben Cousins barrage. If you don't know, Ben Cousins update.
Yeah. And we're too nice to be like, yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Every time
they're
I'm like,
excited
no kidding.
about it. So they're excited. We want them to be excited that Ben Cousins had meth up his ass again.
Right.
How are you not excited about that? I'm excited. I was fucking jacked when I heard it.
The pocket expands, James.
Yeah. Even more meth this time. The same thing. He said he was living with a madam.
Yeah.
Which is
living with a hooker.
Like I said,
not just a hooker, like the one in charge.
Well, the madam. Right. I will say, like when you told me that, at least madams are known for stability of housing. They do stay in the same place for long periods of time. So that's good for Ben.
Rarely goes unpaid.
Absolutely. That's good for Ben Cousins because he has very instability.
Offering to sell up his Brownlow medal.
Yeah, that's very sad.
For meth, he's
very sad.
Out of his mind.
It's fucking
We
rock
knew it was
bottom.
happening.
Yeah.
We knew. When that show ended, I believe you said that this is for sure happening.
This is not the end. No. Yeah, because he was like, I'm fine now. Yeah. Like, no, you are not. You have a problem. You have such a meth problem that you needed to put it up your ass to bring it somewhere. Right. That's a big meth problem.
Threatened to bury his fiancée alive.
Yeah,
did that.
That's insane.
Did that.
I like weed. I'm not going to put it up my ass to take it places. I'm like, well, if I find some, I find some. You know what I mean? Like that's how I know there's a difference in how I don't have that kind of a problem. Oh well, as opposed to how much of this can I cram into my ass? Right. Let's see. I had steak last night, so that's going to take up some. No, so
you just wait till that falls out because that's going to dilate you pretty well.
There you go.
You're going to be able to store at least 13 grams.
Oh man, it's going to be time right there.
I want to see what that 13 grams was shaped like. Was it in like a cylindrical shape, or was it?
You go with turd form.
Yeah, you try to. Right?
I would imagine because that's what comes out more easily.
So
which is really dick form in the same thing. So you made a meth dick and put it up your ass.
He was discovered with it up his ass.
Oh yeah.
So they asked him to pull it out, and he 2-finger jammed it back up further, and they had to go to a hospital to get it out.
Damn, he's aggressive with his asshole.
So you would think it would be a cylindrical shape.
These people are using their assholes like it's a fucking fifth pocket on a pair of jeans, getting their fucking house key out. What are they doing?
It's crazy that's just
jamming your fingers in there. What is wrong with you?
Still your option after they've found your hiding place.
But
you're like a toddler that just keeps going to the same spot at hide and seek. Knock it the fuck off.
Jimmy, I see you behind the tree, you little asshole.
I found you there 10 minutes ago.
No, my son used to do that too. Every kid does that. They find a hiding place. You go, good hiding place. They go back there, the same one. No, not a good one this time.
No, it's not good anymore.
No, I don't understand that up the ass thing. But you figure how much up the ass did he successfully transport in between?
Yeah.
Because that's his spot, obviously. Yeah. So between jail and between back and forth everywhere, he's probably had so much up his ass. And then once every, 5, 6 years, he gets busted for having something up his ass. That's a good ratio.
It's crazy.
So the ass is a solid bet for him. It's not bad.
At some point, you just pit it, right? You just jam it in your armpit, and you just don't move that arm.
I guess. Jesus. What do you do?
It's too much.
At some point, you just stop doing meth all the time. I think that's an option, probably. Well, this guy here...
And 13 grams is too much for your foreskin. That's what it is.
That's the problem. He's like, shit, I can fit a couple grams up there. This guy today, I promise you, had nothing up his ass at any point, but there is something about his ass.
Why do you promise
well,
that?
Because there's something.
Sure?
I know there's he had nothing foreign up his ass, but there is an ass thing that's pretty funny with this guy.
God.
So it's interesting. Gary Charles, let's do this. He's a soccer player, a footballer, as you might say. Born April 13th, 1970, in Newham, England, which is Newham, I guess. It's part of London. Yeah. It's just a borough of London.
Not Newham, we know
not
that.
Newham, right. Even though it's spelled Newham for some reason. You don't say Newham. I don't know why.
It's New Boiled Ham. That's
why
where
that is.
From.
Yeah, he's from Boildham. I'm from Boildham. So
that's probably a place.
It probably is Boildham. You know it probably is. Please tell us if Boildham is a place, because if it is, we want to know all about it and the origins of how much ham does one town have to boil before they go. It smells so badly.
It smells of Boildham here.
It smells of a Boildham I've never encountered before.
It exists. I'm sure.
It exists. I know it does. Yeah. He apparently grows up in East London. He has an unstable childhood, apparently. He's like, I don't know, his racial makeup is something. He's part black, I know. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is in soccer, he's part black, so he looks kind of Hispanic-ish. He looks sort of
Puerto Rican?
No, they call him the Brazilian, even though he's not Brazilian at all. Yeah. And he's, a half black kid from London. He's the Brazilian. Cultured. Yeah, they are. Well, you know how the Brits are very progressive with the race relations, and then they end up. Actually, I don't think it's that bad over there. I think it's better over there than here.
It is. That's my point. It's like, why are you calling this guy the Brazilian?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Grew up in London.
Well, this was a long time ago. This was in like 1990. He came up. So, it's not. But I mean, over here, Christ Almighty. Yeah. We still, Hulk Hogan was calling Yokozuna a big fat Jap in 1994, which I don't think you can do. You can't do that now. Yeah. You couldn't go on TV and say, that Jap brother, that big fat Jap, I'm going to body. So they'd be like, dude, that's a little rough. I don't think you're supposed to do that.
But was he a Jap?
No, he was actually an Islander even.
That's a problem.
But he was playing a Japanese guy.
Oh, okay.
So they were insulting.
There's a difference.
So now they'd be like, he's racially attacking someone who is appropriating another culture to begin with. So we don't even know who we're rooting for here. All we know is the Japanese are aggrieved on every path. He's appropriating their culture, and he just called them all Japs. Somehow they're not involved in this at all, but they're taking the brunt of everything. This is not fair at all.
It's brutal.
It's brutal. So, this, on the other hand, the Brazilian. So, I don't know.
Never been.
Never been. Really, Brazil.
I don't even know what the flag looks like.
Never been. I know they asses. Right. That's all I know about there. There's asses from what I hear.
I smell of boiled ham. Why would you call me a Brazilian? They don't have ham.
They do. They love pork in South America. I don't think they boil it, though.
Is that what Brazil is?
I think they... No, Brazil...
I'm the dumbest person alive.
Did you not know where Brazil?
No, I know that it's the largest country in that continent.
It's like half the continent.
I see that, but in my head,
the Texas of South America.
But in my head, because they're similar shapes, I saw it on the Horn of Africa.
Oh, okay, I see that.
And then when you said South America, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I don't know why I didn't connect.
That's amazing.
Jesus, I'm stupid.
That's awesome.
And because he's a black guy, and they're calling him
the Brazilian.
I just see the racist side of it.
Yeah.
So I see it being in Africa.
Well, yeah, because they're going to be.
And I'm a dipshit.
And well, if you add all those factors together, Brazil is in Africa. He said his childhood was pretty unstable.
Yeah.
Home life was pretty unstable. Didn't have a lot of money. Mm-hmm. He just wasn't like if you picture people in London are like, oh fuck, but everywhere else in the world, sorry guys, we just picture people in top hats walking around heading to the opera at every moment, or heading to some event.
Guys with canes that walk up
canes,
great.
Fancy.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you carry that? You walk great.
We know that's not how it is. I've seen a lot of shit in England, but that's how the world sees this, and he's not.
And you can thank Walt Disney for that, by the way.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah, exactly. It's not your fault at all, but we've done plenty of London episodes and also all over England episodes where we know it's not like that at all. I like how they still think areas are really rough.
Right.
And then I'm like, have you been to Baltimore?
Right.
Calm the fuck down.
Have you been to
Chill.
the East LA. Fuck.
Yeah,
I doubt you have many places horrible as that.
Have you seen The Wire? So.
Because I haven't.
Yeah, because Jimmy had. When we did the Gavin Grant episode, they were saying how hard it is, and it was like, one guy got shot over there, one guy got shot over there. It's like, we hear that people have fucking, and I'm not talking about mass shootings, I'm talking about like street crime. People have machine guns and shit.
Saturday
like
in Chicago.
It is not. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Ridiculous.
Yeah. It's a different type of thing, but it's bad for them. For the English.
Got it.
I guess he was always tight with his mother, but he had no father around, which didn't help with the instability. His mom worked a lot and that sort of thing. He does end up having a stepfather that he grows close to later on, but early childhood, he has no father figure around, which is an issue. He says of that, quote, many in prison have similar problems. There was no dad for me, nobody urging me on from the touchline, but with addiction comes bigger problems. I know that now. It's also addiction runs in his family a bit, and his problems are going to be alcohol based mainly, which always makes for a fun episode, but sad usually.
It's disappointing.
Exactly. He's one of those type of guys, and that's you really with this guy too. You feel like every time he does something, it's almost like every time he does something, it's out of character, which is the weird thing when people repeatedly do the same thing. And you're like, that seems out of character. It's like, no, not really. He did that last year and the year before and twice the year before that. Right. But for him, he's one of those guys. We've had a few guys that no matter what they do, you're like, well, that doesn't seem right. I'm going to look into that. Right. Oh, no, he did that. Yeah, definitely.
And if his dad was around, maybe he would have beat him up or talked some sense into him to fucking get him out of this behavior.
And like we've said, the age-old crime and sports question, is it better for fathers to just leave and run away or stick around and beat the shit out of everybody they can touch? Which is better? Right. And we've never figured it out because it seems bad both ways. Yeah. Basically, if your father's shitty, it's bad for you.
If those are the two options, you can't really choose.
No. But this is crime and sports, Jimmy. We're not expecting good parenting. We're not going to say, that's not a third.
We've had that twice.
We've had it twice in 129 episodes. Let's just call that an anomaly and not put it into the formula.
Because obviously that's the answer.
Yeah, we did a Tylenol trial, and 85 people said their headache went away. 11 people said their headache didn't go away, and 4 people's eyeballs bled from their head and leaked all over the floor, which is weird for Tylenol.
But everybody had anal leakage.
But everyone had anal leakage. So does everyone here. So 1987 here. He's 17. Actually, he was 16. He wasn't 17 yet. He's playing soccer, and he's good. He's real quick. He's small. He's an undersized guy, especially when he's a teenager. He's the type of kid who kind of grew late. And so he was a small, skinny kid as a teenager, and he was trying to catch on with one of these teams. As you know, they have the football child slavery program over there, which is the weirdest thing in the world. Let me buy your child. How about that?
It's essentially sex trafficking for boys minus sex.
It's so fucking weird. Yeah, it's like it's their version of gymnastics.
Right.
It's so fucked up, except without sex, like we said.
Without everybody getting diddled.
It's so fucking strange because the English will sell their fetus to a soccer team. Yeah. They don't give a fuck about the age, anything. They will sell you to a soccer team. It's fine. No, go play with them.
Don't kick the ball, boy.
Yeah. So the team that found this young man here is Clapton Football Club. It's again these weird child property shit. So strange. This is a football club based in Forest Gate. It's East London, where he's from. I guess now the club are currently members of the Essex Senior League and play at the Old Spotted Dog Ground as their stadium. Which
That's so British.
Listen to it, isn't it? Yeah. The Old Spotted Dog Ground. Here, the Old Spotted Dog Ground sounds like that's where they used to put dogs to sleep, and it's sad. There, it sounds like spotted dogs trotted with top hats on, twirling their canes. Somehow, even though they're dogs.
The spotted dogs here they're spotted because they have disease. Yeah, and that's why we're putting them down.
There they have monocles.
Right.
And it's a different dog.
That's their spot.
That's it. This is a weird, I don't know if this is right, but I looked the stadium up, and the capacity of this stadium, it says there's 2,000 capacity for seating, for people, but 100 when seated.
What?
So they cram 2,000 people standing and only 100 seated. How big are these fucking? Are they thrones?
Right.
How much room do these fucking people take up?
That's amazing. That sounds comfortable.
That sounds so luxurious.
If 100 people can sit where 2,000 can stand,
a chaise lounge and a table next to them, and
it's like those movie theaters.
A servant
with the
standing by with a tray. There's room for everybody.
That's incredible.
This is nuts. So I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe it's 1,000 seated, but
probably right.
I guess, but I saw 100 in multiple places. It doesn't matter.
That's weird.
It's strange here.
But maybe that's why that one stadium everybody got crammed and trampled because they fucking stand and cram them all in like that.
Bastards.
There's probably only probably only enough room for 100 people,
and they crammed
and they killed 20,000,
and they put 20,000 in, and 12,000 died. So that's very sad. It's very, very sad. So he said that this was Clapton was the team he finally caught on. He tried to get on a bunch of other teams, like I said, and everybody said he was too small. Clapton put him on, but they weren't really.
Is that a town, Clapton, or is this like
it's
Eric
the football
Clapton's
club?
shit?
I don't know. It's in East London.
A fucking team.
I assume he's English, so I assume
that's why I'm going
you're
that way.
named after places. Sometimes I don't know. Maybe he's an amazing guitarist. I probably terrible at soccer.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Usually musicians are not good at any sports.
He's an elderly man at this point, too. He's better with his hands. I've never seen him do anything with his feet.
And he's still crying over that dead son.
He is. Is he alive?
Eric Clapton?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Is he alive still?
He should be.
I'm so lost anymore.
We have killed so many people.
We really have. I'm sitting here going, is he alive? Then I'm picturing George Harrison. I'm like, I know he's dead. Is Clapton alive? I don't fucking know anymore.
Clapton wasn't a Beatle.
No, he wasn't a Beatle at all. He was in like 14 other bands instead.
He did everything else.
Yeah, that's weird.
Everything in the 70s, that was him.
That was him, yeah. It's at least if there's a whiny guitar in it, he was in there somewhere. That's not an insult. I like Clapton. But anyway.
He's a great guy.
He finally said, everybody said he was too small, but Brian Clough saw something in him, he said. Brian Clough is
for sure alive. 73.
He's alive. Okay, good for him. Good. Good for you, Eric Clapton.
Good.
We know he's a listener, obviously. Clapton is a huge sports fan, absolutely tremendous, and loves nothing more than some filthy humor about a disgraced athlete. It's weird.
And when we remind him that his kid's dead,
and he likes that. He likes that. It's an emotional thing for him when he writes another Layla. Yeah. And there you go. Just the instrumental part, though. He's like, I don't need words. Right. Yeah, I don't need words. Just the part that they kill everyone in Goodfellas during. Right. That's all. So he says Brian Clough saw something in him. Brian Clough is the manager for Nottingham Forest, who
again it always shows up.
It's always Nottingham Forest. It wasn't that Gavin Grant's team,
I think so.
And that was they always fucking come up.
Yeah.
I think too. There's not a ton of teams, and so it's weird though.
They have
there's a
fucking
lot.
Thousands.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot. There's a lot.
It's just that Nottingham shit.
I don't understand.
Nottingham, whatever.
But it's always Nottingham Forest.
Right.
It's always them.
It's always there.
So anyway, they signed him at 16 years old.
Jesus.
Again, he's a defender.
Yeah.
The Gary Charles. He's very quick and athletic because he was small. He had to be, so that was helpful. His coach here, or the manager Brian Clough, described him as, quote, a gazelle. Wow, that's a
great fucking description of somebody at 16.
Yeah,
and he's signing contracts with, like, I signed my W-2s that year, and I had to my boss. I've been sitting there going, "Can you help me with this?" And they're like, "We're not allowed. We're not allowed to tell you anything about that. You do it on your own." And I'm like, "But this guy's signing contracts that's like for
or his mom is
somebody's
probably his mom.
It's pretty impressive at 16 to be signing a contract. I didn't sign
for anybody anything. Nobody would have wanted to pay me for anything at 16.
I had to negotiate how much is taking out of my minimum wage check.
Oh, shit, man. And that was hard to do. So he was apparently bought for equipment from this team. It's a low-level team, like we said, plays in a tiny stadium. So they rather than give them money for the young player, they said, we'll give you some shit, some stuff.
There's
and equipment
a soccer bag.
Yeah, and they were like, cool, right on. They didn't have any plans for this kid.
A pair of Sambas.
That's it. They thought it was too small, pair of Sambas and a fucking bag of balls, and there you go. Knock yourself out.
And here's a new thing that was just invented. See, the ball goes in this cradle, and then it straps to your ankle, and you kick it, and it comes back.
It comes back to you.
It's fucking
impressive.
You
get a couple of those. Yeah, it was like selling Manhattan for a couple of fucking, for the Blazing Saddle paddleball set. So Charles here, he basically became God, this is creepy. I'm sorry. I get that this was all on the up and up, and no molestation happened, and there's nothing weird about this, but it's still, if someone said that someone was going to take my 16-year-old and do this with them, I would say absolutely not, no matter who they were. Okay. Yeah. He would basically be his like surrogate dad kind of thing. He would. It's super weird. He used to run his bath every Monday. You can't be running people's bath. He became like his house.
Anything for him in the bathroom. Never. No.
You said like wiping his ass is an option.
No.
Like
if you're
like
going
that.
into the bath, whatever's in, that's your duties.
I feel like
I don't turn anything on for you. I don't bring you a towel.
What do you need someone to run your bath for? It's not like they're just going out to get buckets out of a fucking well. Turn it on yourself and go walk away and come back when it's fucking hot, you lazy bastard.
He's got a 16-year-old to do that for.
That is creepy. Yeah. I don't want a 16-year-old boy doing anything with my washing apparatus. Stay the fuck out of here.
My clothes are coming off. That's where the kids' fucking duties end.
Yeah, stay. So, said he would run his bath every Monday and walk his dog.
Also,
all
Brits,
around.
Just on Monday.
Monday.
How about you get to washing?
I guess that was his relaxing bath day. He'd take a.
Otherwise, it's shower day.
Otherwise, it's just a hosing down in the yard, and it's no shower for this guy.
Otherwise, I have the 16-year-old. Just turn the hose on me.
Turn the hose on me, mate.
Like fucking dogs.
Get in my butthole here. So,
when you want the dogs to stop fucking. Perfect.
So, yeah, he would walk the dog. He said he lost it one time, the dog, but he found it. So then didn't get mad. He says that he was 9.5 stone weight-wise. So that's very light.
Is that 90 pounds?
I think it's more than 90. I think it's like 100 I don't fucking know.
I thought a stone was like 10
pounds.
I
thought it was like 12 pounds.
It's 12 kilos or some shit.
For Christ's sake.
I don't know.
He was fucking small for his size with your fucking stone. I get that pounds are whatever arbitrary too, but stone?
Right.
Fuck you. Get out of here.
How many stones do you guys
have?
How
many kilos is he? Can we just all agree on something? Can we all agree on a fucking weight system and a measurement system for that matter either?
How many stones do you have that are the same fucking size
that you can just say? This one guy picked up a stone 1,000 years ago and he goes, that's a stone now. Whatever that fucking stone was. It's ridiculous. Same thing with a foot. It's horse shit.
It's ridiculous.
So anyway, he says that, quote, Cloffy said if I didn't put on weight, I had to go and live with him and his wife, Barbara. I used to go there for breakfast and do his garden.
Right.
Which that doesn't sound good.
If you don't put on weight, you have to live with me now.
You have to live with me.
I'm going to own you.
That's what I mean. I'm going to own this Brazilian child that's not Brazilian. It's super fucking weird, man. This is silver-haired, middle-aged white man behavior to the extreme.
Absolutely.
This is like, you're going to come and eat my wife's cooking. Like, this is fucking weird. Wow. So he would do that. He said he was on I guess his stipend was 25 pounds a week, for the team.
And this in the 90s? That's not that's terrible, right?
I think that's bad. Yeah. And then he would get 20 pounds for the garden.
Okay.
So
45 pounds a week?
So 45
or is that 20 of the 25 is for the garden?
No, I think it's an and he would get. So it's 45 pounds a week. I mean, he's a kid. I guess he's living at home still. I don't think he has an apartment or anything. So
yeah, because they haven't forced him to live with them yet.
No. Well, we'll see if he can't put on some weight.
Right.
We're going to see here.
And they're keeping his pay low so that he can't eat those fuckers.
Well, he would stay there. I guess the team had housing for him, and he said he used to send all his money home to his mother anyway because she needed money there. He said he went from having a quote not great upbringing, leaving home and school at 15 to all of a sudden cleaning Gary Birtle's boots. I guess that's a exciting thing. That sounds like a step down.
Yeah,
it sounds like I left home, I left school, and now I'm cleaning this asshole's boots. That sounds like a cause and effect.
Right.
Like you left home and school, and that means you had to clean a boot or suck a dick for some money.
Right. I was just going to say that. That's essentially the same story every hooker has. I left home when I was 14.
They would love to clean a guy's boots.
And now I'm blowing dicks.
Yeah,
so.
they would love to just be cleaning boots.
Right.
Just your boots? Absolutely.
You want me to spit shine your balls too? I get
You want me to put the mud on my face when I'm done or what? I don't know. No? Okay, great. Perfect. This is going to be awesome. This is good. You're an easy customer. I don't know why I didn't do this last time.
Good, right.
Jesus, you got any other friends with dirty boots? Oh, man. So, so I guess he was playing for the, kind of on their, I don't know. They have like a farm pen of children that they choose from. This is really creepy. I understand that if you're a kid that just wants to do nothing but play soccer, then this is great. But from like an adult standpoint looking at it, you shouldn't own someone else's child.
This is probably the same story that Pele and fucking David Beckham.
I'm sure everybody had this.
And all these dicks.
Yeah.
They lived this same lifestyle.
Everybody good got called out when they were a teenager.
And they're smiling today.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, they've got to go, that was a bit fucking
crazy.
weird.
Imagine if, here, we don't let, we don't want guys in the NFL. You have to be, out of college for, it's 3 years out of high school before you can play in the NFL and all this type of shit. Imagine if our sports started just taking kids basketball. Baseball, you're not allowed to, you can sign a foreign kid when he's 16, but that's it. You can't sign an American kid, I don't think, till he's 18.
And you can't force him to draw your bath.
That's the other thing. He doesn't walk your dog. He doesn't do your garden. He doesn't have to eat your wife's cooking. None of that shit. Basketball, they freak out when people come out of high school.
Right. Did you see LeBron James living at the owner of the Cavaliers' house and doing his garden and shit?
He'd be like,
16?
fuck your garden. Yeah. I have a Nike commercial. Eat dicks, dude. Not doing this shit. I'm in high school. I have a Nike commercial.
I got to get back home anyway. Delonte West is nailing my mom.
It's going to be a problem. I got to deal with that shit, and I'm losing my hair at a rapid pace. So I got a couple of appointments to keep right now. It's a problem. Yeah. So that's what I mean. It's a very odd arrangement. The whole thing is super fucking weird and creepy. And by the way, hockey does that too. They buy children also.
But
tennis,
that's just Canada, not America.
Yeah. That's in America. They go to usually get a college scholarship out of it, and that's how they do it. In hockey, they're like, he's good. What is he? 12? He's mine. I'm buying him. Tennis is the same way, but that's another international game. So never mind. So anyway, so he was happy about cleaning Gary Birtle's boots, which
thrilled.
That Gary Birtles must be a bad motherfucker if you're happy to clean his boots. He says, quote, I was always sneaking into the first team dressing room. Ian Bowyer would catch me and say, what are you doing in here, you little cockney? But I always just wanted to listen. I was fascinated. He said Cloughy would take me away with the first team for experience. I had to carry the tea, but I would watch them go out on the pitch and think that's my dream.
What does carrying the tea mean?
I think that's the food. Okay. Now, British people, we're going to get tweets about this. I watch like a lot of British TV too, and I have yet to decipher what the fuck this is. Okay. It feels like, and I could be completely wrong, tea is its own meal. Okay.
Oh.
Tea is tea to have drink tea, but tea is also its own meal. It's not dinner and it's not lunch. It seems like an afternoon.
It's somewhere.
How many fucking meals are you eating over there? Number one. I don't know what it is. Or is that dinner? Is because I hear like your evening tea. So is that dinner?
I don't know.
What is that? What the fuck are you people doing over there?
I get tweets from people in England.
You calcium fucking deprived motherfuckers, ham-boiling assholes. Tell me what you're up to.
This girl Beth, who's a vet over there, she tweets me and tells me that she's having crumma. I don't know what the fuck that is.
I know the fuck that's what I mean.
But I don't want to be insulting and look like an asshole. It's probably a biscuit, and Jimmy. Ask. But it's probably like crumpets and tea.
It's probably
and shit.
a biscuit, which is a cookie.
Right.
So there you go.
Right.
And she went to 3 different. You had to translate it twice to get to that.
But she said that she was also having a fag, and that got fucking dicey for a second.
Yeah. And you had to go. Oh yeah. That's right.
I get it. You smoke Marlboro, so okay, gotcha. I'm on board.
So, Jesus Christ.
It's also bizarre.
It's insanely bizarre. And this is a bizarre, like we said, a bizarre arrangement. I guess at 15, 16 years old, I guess it would have been cool to like go into a major league team's locker room and be their gopher. Yeah. You'd be like a bat boy.
Sure.
We have that, but it's usually like a coach's kid or something. That's the bat boy. It's not usually some kid from the fucking projects that they stole, unless it was MC Hammer. They made him be a bat boy.
In high school, there was a teacher whose son was a bat boy for the Diamondbacks, and it was cool for him then because he was hanging out with the players when he was 14 to 16 years old.
That's amazing.
Then I was like 23, and by now he's 21, still doing that, and it's fucking sad.
You don't want to have bat boy on the back of your uniform at 21.
When you're a fucking man.
You're a man. Yeah. Well, at least
because you can't put Batman on the back. Do? That shit's trademarked.
That is. What's he going to do? Work that till he's 80 and then he can be one of those old fucks they put down the line to shag fly balls? Yeah. God, I want one of those guys to die on the field so fucking bad so they'll stop that fucking program and let children go out there like everybody else in the fucking major leagues. Jesus Christ almighty.
Thing.
Let a teenager go out there. Don't let some fucking old fart go out there. He's had a life already. If he didn't go out on a major league field by now, it's not going to fucking happen, old man. Sorry. You should have worked on that.
You got to groom. You got to replace the fucking field of players that you have. And the way to get a kid to love the sport is fucking involve them.
Give him an opportunity, damn it. So
get him near the people that he calls heroes.
Jesus Christ. Absolutely. So he's near his heroes here. He says, quote, "It's a big thing when you actually come into a club and you're here every day and you're watching the first team play." He said the Forest team had a lot of great players at the time. I still remember cleaning the boots of Johnny Metgod, Gary Birtles, Gary Mills, and Gary Fleming, and Gary Johnson, and Gary Roberts, and Gary... What the is everyone fucking named? Why is everyone named Gary, and what the fuck is T? What's happening?
And why is everybody taking... Why does he have to clean everybody's shoes?
Everybody, that's the shoe cleaner? Right. What the fuck is he doing? I guess he's the gopher, whatever.
And it's the spikes that he's cleaning? Are those the boots?
They say, I guess
I've heard
that's
those
the boots.
called boots.
Yeah, unless they're having them, I don't know, get their regular shoes cleaned by the time. How much mud are they walking through? I get it's muddy over there, but
I understand it
there's
rains
no path to from the parking lot.
Every goddamn day.
It's a fucking professional place. What's going on here? And why is everyone named Gary? Honestly, that's ridiculous. That is fucking ridiculous. Those names, by the way, sounded like if you said, quick, name four, make up 4 British soccer players. And you're like, Johnny Metgod, Gary Birtles, Gary Mills, and Gary Fleming. You'd be like, those are fine, but how many Garys are you going to use? Come on.
Run down the list of every Gary you've ever heard.
Could have thrown a Bob in there, anything. We'll just Gary, anything. Yeah, Gary Shandling. He's a good defender, Gary Shandling.
A lot of them.
He said, all sorts of Garys. You know it. Coleman, just Garys everywhere. Imagine Gary Coleman.
That one's the best one.
Gary Coleman.
I'm seeing all these white guys, and then you throw the black midget in there.
A tiny one. With his 85, not later too, with his 1985 different strokes, little mini afro and his like red sweater vest going on. Yeah. And it's hiding from the gooch.
You know what you're talking about, Willis. Mm-hmm. So good.
Oh, Gary Coleman, we love you. So he is dead.
In the tiny shoebox in the sky.
Dead. Oh, that's so sad. They buried him like a hamster in the backyard. They tried to flush him, but that didn't work. So
his afro got stuck.
And his fat ass also. So sorry, Gary Coleman. And with this is what happens. See, we can't help this. This is just how we talk and normally about anything. Man, we're dicks, and then this happens, and then we're comfortable. We feel comfortable enough with you people to tell you that Gary Coleman had a fat ass. So sorry if that insults.
An unflushable fat ass.
An unflushable fat ass. Just so fat it wouldn't go down. So.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
And now back to the show.
Charles said, quote, that was one of the big Gary Charles, because Charles could be Charles Gary. We don't know. His fucking name is Gary, too. Enough Garys. Jesus Christ, man. Gary. I want to see all 4 Garys greet each other because that would be amazing.
How are they all on the pitch at the same time being like, Gary, what? No, the other one.
Yeah.
I'll pass the
They just have to call each other by number.
Right.
That's it. 12. What's up, 24? So he says, quote, that was one of the biggest things I enjoyed. I got to go into the first team dressing room and listen to what they spoke about. Gaz, who is Bertles, I guess. They call him Gaz.
Yeah, because they need nicknames.
Because he's all these Garys. Used to have 2 Toyota Supras, and I would wash them. One day I washed one of them twice, but I felt looked after. Brian taught us to respect people. Look after your own. When it was the tea lady's birthday, we sang and gave her flowers. The tea lady, I guess she prepares the tea. They have a tea lady.
He seems so happy.
Yeah, they have a tea lady and clean each other's boots. And this is so fucking, it's so British. This is exactly what we're making fun of. Is the shit like this. You have a tea lady. Isn't that nice?
He doesn't get that he's being like tortured too. He washed the same car twice in one day.
And he said, but I felt looked after.
It was nice.
It's fine. He said, when Cloughy first saw me, he asked me why I was playing with older lads. I looked so young, but he signed me on the first day for a 2-week trial. He was so little, they thought he was like, why are you playing with the 16-year-old? You look 13. He's like, I am 16. Fuck. So he signed him up. He said, quote, he used to just say, play your football and everything else will be okay. And 18 months later, I was training with the first team. So he ended up catching on and kind of being on the first team, which was a big deal. He says, I was a ringer and I scored 2, but Brian said, quote, I could have scored those. I don't know why you're smiling. So he knocked him down to size a little bit, knock his dick in the dirt and get the little ego out of him. Tell him to go clean a fucking boot or something for a minute here.
He scored 2 goals, but we pulled the goalie, you pussy.
Yeah, it was we were up by 5. They pulled their goalie. Do they do that in soccer like in hockey?
I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they do. It would make sense mathematically. Except that goal is huge, so you just kick it down and it's a fucking goal.
It's going in.
It's a goal, man.
And if it doesn't, you're really going to get ridiculed.
Yeah. I like them picking on him, though. That's good. I like him saying...
He deserves it.
Don't be so fucking happy with yourself. I feel like that's a good thing. Because kids, they get a little excited with themselves. And they're like, listen, pal, I could have scored those goals. I don't need you to fucking...
Anybody. The tea lady could have done it.
The tea lady could have... We could have sang to her as she ran down the field.
But you didn't clean her boots, you dick.
You
so
dickhead.
She couldn't play.
I wonder if somebody, like, once he was on the first team, somebody still dropped their boots off in front of his locker and he gave him, like, a Joe Pesci Goodfellas thing. I don't shine shoes no more. And he just started fucking...
When he come down to tell you.
You're gone a long time. I don't know if anybody came up there to tell you, but I don't shine shoes no more. This guy can make him fight. You can see your... Never mind.
Then he tries to stab somebody in the neck with the fucking spike.
That could happen. So he said that he was happy to be training with them. In 1989, I guess before he ends up playing for them, he is sent on loan to Leicester. Okay, take some of those letters out.
Yeah,
I'm fucking
it's too
sorry.
many for Leicester.
There is an E in there.
There's a C
and an E that do not need to be there.
Yeah.
They don't need to be there at all. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I could fix everything for you guys. Just take some fucking letters away. No one will mispronounce
I'll
shit.
respell everything for you.
You don't have to sit there and be all snottily tell us that we're pronouncing it wrong.
It looks like Leicester, right?
Yeah, it looks like Leicester.
Right.
Yeah, it's
the
Leicester.
C is stupid.
Yeah, it's so stupid. And then the E too is fucking stupid. Leicester.
I mean, you could do
Leister. That's your fucking name now. I changed the fucking signs. Do it, because I am done with this shit. I'm sorry. Leicester City, you bastards. He played in eight games for them and had no goals. So that was just to get a little experience, I feel like. Also plays 6 games for the England under-21 team, which I assume is a good thing. The start of the calendar year in which a 2-year European under-21... Jesus Christ.
What the fuck?
Okay. It's English players aged under 21, basically. And as long as they're eligible, players can play for England at any level, making it possible for the under-21s to play... I don't know what the fuck they're talking about here. Because they're saying it's possible to play for one country at a youth level and another at a senior level. So you can play...
At the same time?
Yeah. So you can play for like fucking some team in Portugal, but play on like England's team to make it, I guess, so if an English-born player goes and play somewhere else, you can still play on the England 21 team. They just make it so complicated to tell us that I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
So they're putting youths on the elderly team. They're
no.
not elderly. The fucking adult team.
Yeah, but this is for anybody under 21 who's on these adult teams, can play on the England under 21 team as opposed to the English national team, I guess, which is the other.
All right.
They get caps. He was capped twice. Two caps.
I remember that.
Yeah, the cap thing means you're on
hats.
it's a lot of hats and caps and bells.
Ridiculous.
And we're not even going to try to make sense of it because we've decided that it's just not going to happen.
I'm not going to remember any of it.
We don't care. You know what?
I want to watch it so bad and I want to get into it and enjoy it because it's such a big fucking deal worldwide.
I need a team.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Maybe that's what it is.
We need teams. Assign us teams.
Don't you give me a shitty team.
Tell us it's a good team.
Yeah. Something that's a good one to support.
Somebody that wears blue, too. I like blue. So
I'm into red.
You can wear red. All right, cool. Yeah. Somebody that, because I wear mostly a lot of blue shit. So
I like red.
I'd like some blue team of some kind.
Tell me something, not like Arsenal or fucking Manchester. I don't want to be like a bandwagon.
Yeah, I don't want to be a bandwagon guy. And
I want to find a team that's good, but not great.
And in a city with a name that's not stupid.
And if it has ham at the end of it, I'm calling it.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, if you want us to root for Tottenham Hotspurs, and that's what you're going to get.
That's what I'm calling them,
motherfuckers.
That's my team. Those Tottenham, and that's a good one for you. They got a good color. They got that baby blue.
Oh, that's not bad.
So.
I'll have to look. We got to look into it, but we're shopping for teams.
We're free agent fans. That's
right.
what we are.
And I think the season runs in the fall, doesn't it?
It fucking runs all year long.
Yeah, it's always going on. But I think it's coming up the maiden season. I could be completely wrong.
Well,
about
the World
that.
Cup just ended.
That has nothing to do with the league. So
it's got to start right now.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with league play. Yeah, before they wander back to their countries of origin and get caught up with fat asses and cocaine and shit. Yeah, everybody. So after one game, Clough said he was so happy about his performance and how well he was coming along. Gary Charles, not any of the other 14 Garys on the team.
Right.
He said, quote, "When Charles plays a 1-2, he goes like a gazelle. It's so effortless. At first it looks like he's not moving, and yet he's 40 yards up the field." Mm-hmm. So I guess he's got a smooth stride.
Stands still and moves fast.
He's like Bernie Williams in center field. He runs like a fucking deer.
Fucking glides.
Now, away from soccer, though, is where he was really making his name because he was a partier. Yeah. He liked to party a lot, a lot of drinking, a lot of girls. He's a young guy. I mean, he's a young guy. He's on a team. He's making a couple bucks. A lot of heavy drinking. Some fights and some shit. It's youthful indiscretion.
As you do.
Pub shit. Yeah. It's normal. It's England. I think they're fine with
events.
That. Yeah. I don't want to know. In England, if there's like a little scrape in a pub, are you guys as crazy about it as it is over here?
I think they're worse.
Are they? Or are they like, that's all right. Yeah. I feel like it would be like, I don't know why we can't go back to that. We've said it before and again. I really want to go back to the part to where two adult people can voluntarily decide to fight each other, and no one is criminally responsible for this.
I think they do that in England.
I would love that. I think they do also. Yeah. I think there's some sort of law where it's like, because we've gone over it before, where it's like, well, you said you wanted to fight him, mate. I mean, broke your fucking neck. That's what happens.
You said you wanted to fight. You was legal.
So it's like Tombstone. I want that. It's like, you want to fucking, because God damn it, that would help so much. There's so many people over here.
He put his hands up, officer. I don't know what to tell you.
There is so many people up here in America where a punch in the nose would change their entire fucking. They would have PTSD for. Oh my God, it was fucking unreal. Yeah. So
I take medication. Not just for for pain, just to get through my day.
Hopefully, it'll make you less of an asshole, and no one will want to punch you anymore. So we should have that voluntary fighting. So anyway.
I think England does it pretty well.
I think they do.
I'm pretty well sure of it.
I think they do. So he ends up playing 56 games for Forest, as they're known, because Nottingham is a lot to say.
Right.
From 1987 to 1993, in that period, he only scores one goal in 56 appearances.
They were right.
So
somebody else could have scored those two.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think that was a minor whatever game. So the 1991, they make it to the FA Cup final, which is, I guess, a big deal versus our pals Tottenham.
Tottenham's in.
The Hotspur is here. Oh, baby. Hotspur coming at you. Yeah. So,
or just the Spurs because they
call them the Spurs.
Because they realize that Hotspur is stupid too.
Sounds really dumb.
Sounds dumb.
And they're like,
is that a bird?
We don't need to say that. I think we decide. We've looked it up last time. I think it's a bird, a stupid bird.
It's dumb.
That's a dumb bird.
It's not even a cute one.
No. It's the one that they model, the thing that just dips back and forth on the by the perpetual motion bird. It's that stupid thing.
Like a hummingbird.
Yeah, something dumb like that. So
not even a bird of prey with talons and fucking big nasty beak.
Just stupid standing there. Duh.
It makes sure your almonds are pollinated.
Yes, your almonds are pollinated.
It's a useless fucking bird.
That's awesome. Hey, pollinate my almonds. So clean my boots when you're done. So apparently in this final game here, there was a big deal when he was tackled. This tackle is a famous tackle, apparently.
Really?
There's a guy named Paul. He's a famous guy over there. Everyone's like, oh, he doesn't know who he is. No, I don't. No. Paul Gascioni,
okay.
Something like that. I think he's a famous nutcase.
Middle
over there.
name's Gary, I think.
I think probably it's got to be Gary. Yeah. Now his first name is Gary. Just changed it to Paul.
Paul Gascioni.
Gary Paul Gascioni. I'm sure that's not how you say it, but he's apparently a notorious nutbag. We've had people send us shit over here to Crime and Sports about him just being a general lunatic. Okay. He eats tons of candy bars. He's a weird guy. Jesus. He apparently made a really, really cheap tackle on Gary Charles this day, like an excessively. It's known as like one of the cheaper tackles that people can remember in a big game like that. Just a real cheap, took out his legs shot. But the Paul, not Gary Charles, Gary Paul, Paul here ended up absolutely destroying his knee in the process, his own knee.
Awesome.
Gary was fine. Gary Charles was fine, but this guy fucking destroyed his knee. Fucking fucked up his career. Just destroyed his knee, apparently. Now, Charles says later on, Gary says, quote, I'm respectful of Paul as he's had his own problems, but he seems to be doing well now. I see his daft jokes on Twitter and it makes me smile.
Oh, boy.
So he says, hopefully we'll get together and have a chat soon. We will do that. I would really like to see him again. I've been asked many times to talk, but I was just the unfortunate person involved in the tackle. It was much worse for him. And on top of this, it's bad for Tottenham that they lose Paul that day, but it's worse for Gary. He gets tackled, gets a cheap shot, and the team loses. And it's a little bit of it is his fault. Apparently, somebody hit a header that looped over Charles at the back of the post. I don't know what the fuck any of that means.
So the ball, somebody hit it with their head.
Yes, that I know.
Knocked it over him.
Knocked it over him, and apparently I think they were passing it to him with a header, and apparently he let it go into their own goal. He didn't jump up and get it, apparently, and it went into their own goal, and they ended up losing 2-1.
Ouch.
So that was the game loser for them. And he says about, I guess this has haunted him forever. Yeah. He says, quote, why didn't I jump? When I see it now, it makes me jump to try to head it off at the line. He probably, in his seat. He says, quote, even my son asked me why I froze.
Oh, no.
To this day, I don't know why.
Oh, Jesus.
He just saw it and was like, oh, look at that ball. He was just like mesmerized by it. Oh, shit, that's going right in there. Oh, fuck. Oh, I'm on the team.
That was me. That was my ball.
This isn't TV. Shit.
PTSD sets in now.
Wow, I fucked that up bad.
And his son asks him, ouch.
Yeah, why didn't you jump, Dad?
Oh, what a burner.
Oh, that's brutal. Why'd you why? My son asked me why I froze. Right. Why didn't you even try, Dad? Why was your psyche so locked up that you just completely just checked out? Why'd that happen?
Like Chris Webber Jr. wandering around the house going, Dad, you can't count to 5?
Why'd you call timeout, Dad? Why? Why'd you do that? You knew you didn't have any timeouts, right? There's a fucking big scoreboard with lights that tell you how many timeouts you have.
It shows the fifth light was illuminated.
Or as you're running by, go, we got any timeouts, Coach? Hey, Coach, we got any timeouts?
Anything else?
Hey, Coach, got any timeouts?
Anything left?
Hey, Coach, got any timeouts? Just because he runs by. The quick.
Chris Webber Jr.
Yeah.
If there is one, there is one.
You know there has to be. Jesus Christ!
I hope that motherfucker gets
Jr.
him. Is it 5 timeouts or is it 6? I can't remember.
I don't remember for college. Who the fuck knows?
Back then it's probably 38.
Who the hell?
No
38 timeouts, and he could have forgotten.
But whatever that number is, I hope that kid gets that number of all kinds of shit for him for his birthday, for Christmas.
Oh God, I would.
For Baker's. If there's 13 of them, Baker's dozen donuts for birthday.
Here you go, Dad. So
Dad, look, there's 13. That's weird.
That's amazing. Look at that, Dad. Never mind.
That'd be just the greatest thing ever if my dad fucked up that big and that on that public of a stage.
Oh, there should be 12 in here. No, Dad, there's 13 actually. I know that's too many, but it doesn't matter.
I know it's hard to count that.
I don't have a problem with that.
I know you had a problem with that number.
Yeah, this kid picking up, because it's a famous thing. It's like,
huge.
Here's a game-winning goal from a final game that just floated over somebody and into their own goal.
Unbelievable.
Can you imagine that?
No.
Imagine in football if somebody scored their own touchdown in a Super Bowl and that was the deciding factor. Somebody ran it back and it was a safety, and they were up by 1 and they ran a safety and they lost by 1.
Right.
Holy shit, that would be a big deal. They'd play that over forever.
If Taylor in the Super Bowl touchdown grab just like lets it go over and go into the other team cornerback and he runs it back for a touchdown, he'd never look at a football ever again.
No, definitely not.
And he'd always see it going over his head.
So there
every
it goes.
day.
So 1992, he says, quote, "At Forest, I had a call from the lads telling me I was in the England squad." So he made the national team, is what he's saying here, which is a huge fucking deal, especially there. Here they're like, oh, we couldn't name 2 people. I couldn't name you 1 soccer player on our national team if you fucking paid me and had a gun to my head.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing. Over there, that's like a huge deal. They're into it.
Like 6 years ago, we had a good team, and I remember like 3 of them then, but I don't remember today. I don't know.
That's what I mean. Now,
then I could recall them.
This is a huge deal, though. Yeah. He says, quote, "I thought they were joking, so I drove to the paper shop. There it was in print. I was over the moon." Okay. I'm going to say it now. Grace. That's it. That's going to be Grace right now. That's Grace. He's making the Grace lasts literally 10 minutes. This is probably the shortest Grace in the history of crime and sports. We always give them something. They always have a few. This is the highest high to the lowest low immediately. Right now. It's amazing. He
made the team.
Only crime and sports could say, yeah. He literally is like, get the fuck out of here. I didn't make the fuck. They're like, no, you made the English gig. No, I didn't. That's bullshit. So he gets in his car and drives to the store to buy a paper, because this is 1992. Yeah. I couldn't just pull his phone out. So imagine that, to drive to a store to buy a paper. That's how excited you are to possibly be, to see if you're being fucked with or not. Right. And he picks it up. He's like, I'm on the English national team. Holy shit. He probably shouted, Grace, I think, at that point. He knew this was Grace. Then he says, quote, "Then, minutes later, it happened. I've never talked about this, and maybe I should have. The cyclist, a teenager, hit me as I turned right." Here it comes.
So he
turned right, and I think a bicyclist
in his car
crossed against the light.
Okay,
yeah.
I thought you meant like he picked up the newspaper, turned around, and then wham!
A bicyclist ran into his car. He said, quote, "He overtook me on the wrong side. It's still a blur. He came off the bike and hit a lamppost." Oh God. The inquest, which is the inquiry here, the investigation, was a verdict of accidental death. Was the saddest thing.
The bicyclist died.
He died. It devastated me. He said, "The night of the accident, I played for Forrest. I didn't tell a soul what had happened. That was just me all over. Block it all out and it will go away," but it doesn't.
Oh my God.
This is the downfall. So I mean, he went from the high. He was literally driving with the newspaper,
from getting the news,
of the thing he's wanted his whole life, and he finally got it, turns a corner right there from the place and kills a kid, a teenager on a bicycle.
Holy shit.
Not his fault. Right. It was they did a full inquiry. He wasn't drinking. He wasn't, the kid was doing he was driving the wrong way, riding his bike on the wrong thing. Like, it was not Gary Charles' fault at all, but no less, he talks about it repeatedly, because he didn't talk about it until 15 years later.
Really?
He talks about it as, he said, the way the kid hit the car, he made eye contact with him as he was making contact. So he said, I saw the terror in his face as the contact was being made.
Was killing him.
As it was killing him. Then he said, I saw that, and then he flew off and hit the lamppost and he died. So he's like, I saw that realization. He said it fucked me all up, and I could understand that being a bit of a fucking thing for people.
Yeah.
And it fucks him up pretty good, and it comes out in his behavior. Okay. Before, he'd go out with the boys and drink and party and all that kind of shit. And I'm not saying that this is the absolute cause and effect, but something like this will make you want to have a drink, I feel like. It'll make you want, especially if he always used drinking to calm his nerves. That was always what he said. He said he never liked the taste. He never even had a drink until he was like 18, 17. Which in England is late, because you can drink legally when you're 18. So he didn't even have a drink till later, because he said, or didn't drink regularly because he didn't like the taste. So he liked that it would calm him down.
Jim Jeffries has a joke about it where he's like, I hate when people say that because they're like, I don't like the taste. Nobody does.
Yeah, exactly. But like he didn't like it to the point where it wasn't enjoyable to have drinks with people. But when he wanted to kill his nerves, that's when he would like throw some down and be like, fuck it, don't care. Yeah, who the fuck likes the taste of
Nobody.
booze?
It's fucking horrible.
It's vile shit.
What happens is fantastic.
Yeah. Once in a while you get a wine that doesn't taste terrible, but
you pair it with
beer,
food and it tastes a lot better.
That's the thing. You with food and wine and food and beer too.
That's what booze is.
Thing.
It's supposed to be a compliment for food, and then you turn it into that's how you function. It's
supposed to be to get you through your day and make you not
want to kill
not
people.
Remember teenagers' faces splatting against your windshield. Maybe that's my problem. I need to drink more,
or just go kill some teenagers,
or kill some teenagers. One or the other. Maybe both. We don't know. We'll find out. So he said, he played for the. So he went. That all happened. The police came. They cleaned a dead kid up. They talked to him. They checked him out. He was fine. Not his fault. Witnesses said what happened. The whole thing. The whole inquest. And then he goes to the field and plays like nothing happened. Doesn't tell anybody what happened. Doesn't say, oh, by the way, I fucking nothing. Just tries to act like nothing happened and push it under the rug, which is not a good probably mental move for him. He probably could have used a little bit of something.
Right.
At least tell your friend about it and, get some sort of, I'm not saying he needed counseling. Maybe he did, but a friend could have been like, oh, mate, it's all right, buddy. Hey, shit, that's terrible. And that might have helped him a little bit unload.
I think even Cam Newton took some time off when he rolled his truck.
That's what I mean. At least a couple of days, something. Chill it. And I didn't go play that night.
Go relax.
Yeah, so he plays for England. This is the England national team. By the way, England is one of the two oldest national teams in football.
Is that right?
It's England and Scotland are the two oldest. Yeah. And they played the world's first international football match in 1872.
Was that right?
So yeah, this is what I mean. This is some fucking tradition.
Do they go to Scotland or
they
go
don't
to
fuck
England?
around? I don't know. They probably can't. I figure the English were probably made them come to them. They're like, you know what? Fuck you guys.
You're under our throne. So
we fucked with you for the last 1,000 years.
Right.
Might as well keep fucking with you more. You come here.
Loser has to Brexit. What do you say?
Yeah, what do you say? Hey. So England plays in Wembley Stadium, which is some nice digs, I would say, for there. Now, 1993, he leaves Nottingham Forest and he joins the Derby County Rams, which is another team here. They're arch rivals of Nottingham Forest.
That's still
apparently.
in England?
That's still in England,
Okay.
yeah. The Derby County Rams. That's a pretty English name.
Sounds Irish to me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it sounds Australian, honestly.
That too.
I think Rams. Don't they name everything the Rams over there?
Pretty much.
Yeah, okay. So that's their what's the Canadian football team,
Don't look at
that
me.
we always say, the Rough Riders. That's their version of the Rough Riders, that they had two teams in an 8-team league that had the same name. Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Somebody change it.
Somebody changed. I think they did now, finally. So he was there. He gets signed for £750,000 in 1993 money.
Yeah.
That's some fucking money. That's pretty goddamn good. He goes on total to score 3 goals and 77 appearances for them.
Okay.
That's not
great.
That's not a lot.
But it's 3 goals. That's more than I scored.
That's way more than I can score. See, I mean, that's probably, it doesn't seem like a lot, though. They won the Professional Footballers Association Team of the Year.
Wow.
Okay. Now, I didn't know what the fuck this was. And here is the definition of what this award is.
Oh, boy.
Quote, it is an annual award given to a set of 55 footballers across the top 4 tiers of men's English football, the Premier League, Championship, League 1 and League 2, as well as the Women's FA WSL, who are seen to be deserving of being named in a Team of the Year. Peter Shilton currently holds the most appearances in the PFA team, whatever the fuck. I don't know what any of that means.
He's been on the most teams.
They apparently picked the best overall franchise, I feel like.
But they got to have 55 dudes.
Yeah, well, I think that's all the different teams because you have 4 teams.
Okay.
So I think that would line up to that because I think it's probably the best. It would be like now, don't quote me, even though I'm saying it in a microphone and recording it and putting it out to the public.
And putting it under quotes.
But I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. Yeah. I think this would be like if you gave out like the best team to a major league team that went all through the minors too. You know, that had like good minor league teams and a good system and a good major league. I think that's what it is.
It's the best organization.
I think that's
St.
what
Louis
we're talking
would win
about.
every year.
Yeah, they usually would.
Fucking Cardinals is
they
what
are.
An organization.
They stink this year in the majors, but they always have good minor league. They bring them up.
Fucking organization.
They bring them up well. Damn it. This is the point where alcohol really, really becomes an issue in his life. and in his problems and everything else.
Team of the year.
Team of the year. Well, this is about this time.
Okay.
He said, quote, drinking was part and parcel of the game when I was playing. Managers didn't mind you having a few beers then. Most thought it was good for team spirit. When I first joined Forest, I lodged with Roy Keane, who we'll talk about. He's a very famous guy over there. Okay. And we had some great nights out. Cloughy was fine about that, although he didn't like us drinking out of bottles for some reason. He wanted his players to be classy.
You drink it out of a can.
Lift your pinky.
Right.
So, don't drink out of a can. He said, quote, when I was 20, I moved in with my girlfriend, Michelle, and we soon started a family. So the nights out stopped. So he's saying that, 1990, 91, he stopped going out.
Because he had a kid.
Because he had a kid. He said, you could say I was a model professional. In bed by 10, up early to take the kids to school, then off to work to train hard. Okay. So this is what he's saying he was doing. And back then, that was just, they just drank some beers after. And that's every sport. I mean, fucking.
That's every job.
That's every job. Yeah. But they used to drink in the baseball, drinking a few beers in the locker room after the games are I don't know if they still do it, but back then that was the common practice.
I swear I've seen it on TV.
Oh yeah. And back in the 60s, everybody had to, or else you were considered an asshole.
Or a pussy.
Yeah, everybody. And the manager would be like, you guys crack those beers open, you enjoy it, blah, blah, blah. If you've ever read Ball 4, the Jim Bouton book. And then Rod would tell me with the Giants, there was a few, 4 or 5 of them that would stay around for 2 hours after the game and just drink beer and talk about baseball.
Sure.
Be him and Matt Williams and a couple other guys, the real hardcore baseball guys, would sit around, and 3 hours of the game and 4 hours of being there before that wasn't enough for them.
Right.
They needed to hang out and talk more baseball.
You guarantee whatever team he was on,
he would have been on that.
Was the leader.
He might have been at the bar by that point.
That man loves drinking.
By the way, those guys, they were real tight.
Really?
Mark and Rod.
Really?
Fuck yeah. They loved each other. Yeah, he was a big fan of. They played for 98, the Cubs together.
Oh, okay.
And he said they were kindred spirits. Rod liked to party. He liked to drink.
Mark Grace is the most committed to drinking I've ever seen. He took a breathalyzer out of his car to keep drinking and driving.
That's amazing. That's so fucking amazing. He loves
a shit about drinking and driving.
At least Rod was smart about it. When he made the comeback and had the trailer, had his RV out behind the minor league stadium, he would just give all the people beer that would come. He's like, well, I'm not allowed to sit.
Come drink with me.
Yeah, he said he had to have the Coors truck would have to come to his fucking thing because there were hundreds of people would show up and he'd give them all beer.
I would love that.
Yeah, it was fun. He'd barbecue and shit. But
they don't do that anymore.
No, they don't do that anymore.
You get sued.
No, that's the thing. Well, that was 2003. He was doing that when he was coming back.
People
with the
are
Cubs.
dicks though, and if they get in a car accident leaving there, they're like, Rod Beck gave me all this booze.
Yeah. This was in Iowa. I feel like they'd be like, get your ass home, you fucking pussy. Get over there.
Get in the back. You're too drunk.
You're too drunk. Here, I'll follow you. It's fine. I'll follow you. You're good.
Follow me. That's what they would do.
Yeah, follow me. Let's go. So we have it in their own words here about his situation and just what this is now. This isn't when we talked about a second ago, he'd go out partying with his pal there and everything. This is now, he says, in their own words, quote, it was lonely. I wouldn't hit a packed bar. I'd sit on my own in the quietest pub and drink. I didn't do it for the enjoyment. I didn't do it for the excitement. When I was playing, I wasn't seen as one of the big drinkers. My life was disciplined until I went on a bender. When I was playing, I never went on benders. 50 weeks I'd be fine, and on the 51st, and afterwards I'd go on a run during training and still be at the front. I was kidding myself. So he's the same kind of, I think Ben Cousins would do the same shit when he was playing, different sport obviously, but when he was playing, he would do the same thing where he would say he would be fine and then not a drop, and then for a week he just
only that.
He'd end up, upside down in a tree naked with fucking,
running through crocodile-infested waters.
With dead prostitutes all around him. And he's like, what happened? I don't know, and meth hanging out of his ass.
Where am I?
Yeah, what's up my ass?
What is this?
Something's up my ass, though, right? Because it should be.
Good.
It feels good. I think I like it. So, January 6th.
What's in my foreskin?
Let's play What's in My Foreskin. Everybody. Join the newest game, Sweeping Australia. What's in my foreskin? All right, everybody join up. What's in my foreskin?
Let's take some
that's a new
bets on
game.
what's in Ben Cousins' foreskin.
I think meth is the safest bet
That's probably,
every time.
number
meth,
one. Hooker saliva, number two.
Saliva of a madam. A lot of things.
His own semen that he trapped in there.
Definitely. Maybe some, like a snack for later, I feel like he'd store in there. I'm out of pockets. Fuck it. I think he just put it in there.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's already got something up his ass. I feel like he fills the ass up first, then he's like, man, I got foreskin. I guess I'll move on to the foreskin now.
That's the front trunk. That's what that is.
That works. It's my pouch.
Good Christ.
So, wow. Amazing. So January 6th, 1995, he signs with Aston Villa. Aston Villa. I don't know what it is. Villa, I think, because it's England.
Probably.
They pronounce filet mignon, filet mignon. So I'm going to go with Aston Villa.
Filet mignon.
They do.
No, they don't.
In England,
Stop
they say
that.
filet mignon.
Oh, my God.
They do not say. They fucking hate the French. Do you think they're going to pronounce that shit French? It's a fillet. If you go out, they'll say fillet steak. That's what that is.
No.
Abso-fucking-lutely. That's how they pronounce that shit there. English people, back me up on this one. And also tell me what the fuck tea is and what's going on with your Garys.
You guys got to stop being so petty and just call
Jesus
it what it
Christ,
is.
yeah.
It's fucking delicious.
That's right,
It's
goddamn.
amazing, those fillets.
They are. Fuck yeah,
the
they're
best
delicious.
steak ever.
It's tender, it's juicy. What's bad?
It's so good.
So he signs here with Tommy Johnson, I guess, is the manager. We all know how that Tommy Johnson is.
Yeah.
I don't know who the fuck he is. He signs it there in January of 1995. It is a $2.9 million deal.
That's a deal.
£1,000,000 deal.
Right.
Sorry. So that's a lot of fucking money in that's a lot of money now. 95. That is way more.
Now
money.
That's more than our money.
That's terrific.
Back then it wasn't.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Back
actually.
then it was
Yeah.
like $50.
Yeah, before we destroyed our economy. So anyway,
Before we ruined ourselves.
Before we destroyed ourselves. So 95, 96, he really starts to unravel during this season. He breaks his ankle playing for this team late in the 95, 96 season, and he's out for almost 2 years. And he's got nothing to do, no training to be. He doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be at 7:00 in the next morning out running.
He can't run.
So at that point, what are you going to do? If you're a guy that kind of is a sullen kind of guy who will recede into the darkness and turn to the booze, this is a bad time for you.
And now you're sitting on your ass all the time,
Yep.
and you have all this time to either see a ball go over your head that isn't there, or you see this
Or you
fucking
booze.
15-year-old fly over the hood of your car.
And he's 25, by the way.
Jesus.
He's only 25 years old. It's not like he's, an old man or he's, looking back on the reflections of his career. He's in the prime of his athletic life right now.
And already had 2 enormous events in his life.
Injuries
that have really
and that.
fucked him up.
It's tough. He said that his foot was dislocated at the ankle, and it was a mess. He said, quote, Dwight York was crying on the field. I was out for 20 months, and I couldn't keep the good habits. I feel like he had like a Joe Theismann injury, one of those where
Somebody
they were like, he's fucked up. Oh, he's fucked up. That even made Lawrence Taylor freak out. If you could, Lawrence Taylor's the most vicious motherfucker in the field. He would try to take your head off. When he jumped up and down with waving his hands like a girl going, oh God,
and then
waving in. He had his hands on his helmet. Like you knew shit was wrong. You're like, there's something
and he's
wrong.
like buckling at the knees, like going, I can't believe that shit just happened.
Because any other time when he downs somebody, he would then fucking yell at them and walk away or do finger guns at him or do something to be like, fuck you, motherfucker, I got you. And this one, he's like, oh God, save him. So I feel like he had a Theismann-esque injury.
He went real feminine when he saw it.
He did. He was like, oh God, oh God. So I mean, when you can turn that guy, this baddest motherfucker on the field, most vicious cat out there, into, oh no, save him, oh Jesus.
And outwardly, because you can't hear what he's saying.
No.
It looks just like an excited homosexual that just saw his favorite color on a building.
or is being swarmed by bees. Either one. Just, oh, stop it. Oh my God, they're everywhere. Get him away. Coach, come here and help me. Come. That's what it looked like. He was
a homosexual that just saw a sale on ascots.
You're a British one. British guy we're talking
clearly.
about. Yeah, obviously. Charles said, quote, I had a bad injury with Villa in 1996, a horrendous injury. Seeing your foot pointing the opposite direction, a lot of people said I wouldn't play again. Maybe I shouldn't have played again. I feel I had issues with drink from a young age because of how it made me feel. Looking back, I believe it was about the injuries I had. I drank when I was injured. When I was playing all the time, life was good. I was disciplined until I had a bender. Yeah. And that's kind of what it is. And he said 2 years of being on this condition was just too much for him. He said he hated going to the training ground in the morning just to hang out there because he couldn't do anything. Right. He said he just hated not being a part of things. And he said not only would he go out at night, now he started to drink just to get through days. Oh, no. So now he'd start, drinking during the day. He'd go to the training, watch them get depressed, go fucking drink. Yeah. So that's tough right there.
Everyone out there should listen to Small Town Murder. Yeah. You really should, mainly because you never know who's next door. Oh. And that's the point of this show, really. You never know who is next door. You never know what's going to happen on Small Town Murder. That's what makes it so wonderful. The only thing you do know is that people are going to die, and we're probably going to make jokes about it. That's it. That's all we can promise you. We dig into these towns. We see what makes them tick, from local legends to scandals they may have had. And, of course, the biggest scandals of all, horrible murders that take place there. And we put our, what I feel is a completely appropriate comedic spin on the whole thing. And you know you need a laugh right now. So get in there, listen to Small Town Murder. Follow Small Town Murder on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Small Town Murder early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel. Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
So he's depressed, he's drinking, he's hurt, he's injured, the whole deal. He's having a hard time. Life is not good. He said, when I did get back, I wasn't quick. In my head, my career was over. I was 26 and in my prime. We had won the league championship or the league cup and had been promised new contracts, but I didn't get mine. I guess because he was hurt. He said, I'm the first to admit I've had many issues with drinking and I'm a recovering alcoholic, but my drinking was very different from someone drinking every day. It wasn't all the time. It would be the odd time that would last 2 or 3 days. So he's a he's a big binge drinker. He said, quote, I wasn't a typical alcoholic. I could stop and go long periods of time without drinking. But toward the end of my football career, it would last a little bit longer, definitely. As soon as I was back to full fitness, I would go back to my disciplined life again. So it seemed like a lot of shit was just depending on what was going on in his life. Like if he could stay busy enough,
then you keep your mind off of it and whatever.
Then he wouldn't he wouldn't go drink all night and then show up the next morning all hungover and fucked up. And that wasn't his style generally. So it's weird. It's got a weird type of thing here, this guy. That's what I mean. Like everything he does seems out of character because you're
and
like,
also,
this seems odd.
Not just out of character for a person, just out of character for an athlete. Because a lot of these guys will just tie it on and then just go
full
to work.
bore on everything. Everything they do is full bore.
Right.
It's just the way it is. So with this team here, he ends up appearing in 80 matches and having 3 goals. Okay. They won the League Cup, but he was injured.
He scored 6 goals right now.
That's what I mean.
And he's made $6 million.
I mean, so much money for scoring very little goals. He barely scored any more than I did in the 90s, and I didn't make any pounds off of it. So late 1990s is when he says he first went to Alcoholics Anonymous. He said he was in his mid-20s, but he received no offer of counseling from the team or anything like that, which he said he didn't tell them about it also. He said, quote, alarm bells were probably always ringing. Even when I was 18, I would stay out a little bit longer than others. I didn't like the taste, but it took the nervous edge off. I could always leave booze alone and not touch it for 2 years. So then he says,
2 years?
2 years at a time. He said, no two alcoholics are the same. I would go out with the Forest lads and drink orange juice. I would go out for 51 weeks on the year and be fine. Then on the 52nd week, I may go out and stay out for 3 days drinking on my own. So it wasn't about partying or social acceptance. It was, I'm going to make the pain go bye-bye now, for the entire
I've put up with this for 51
time.
Weeks.
Yeah.
This week is my week.
This is it. I'm going to push it all down.
This is my cheat week.
He pushes it all down and then he's good for the next 51 weeks. He said, people said I must have been out enjoying myself, but it was lonely, hiding drinks from the family at home. He says, even when I went out for 2 days, I would beat everybody on the fitness test the next morning.
Wow.
So that he had, and he was always in shape. That was fine.
I mean, 2 days of drinking is not going to ruin your whole fucking year of fitness, dude.
No, and it
makes sense.
And generally, these guys too, these athletes get in a thing of where they drink. Like Rod would tell me in baseball, they had the drink a case, sweat a case motto. which that's what it was. If you drink a case of beer the night before, you get on the fucking exercise bike or the Stairmaster and you sweat a case out the next. You sweat the case out the next morning so you can get your shit together.
Somebody needs to tell baseball players that's not how that works.
No. That was literally. Like, this was in the 90s probably, but Rod was like, he would have been great in like the 50s and 60s, like that kind of guy. He would have been awesome.
Or earlier, like Mickey Mantle was getting blowjobs underneath the bleachers in the outfield.
That a great, that's what that was. So
that's awesome.
They're drinking a lot. So
you don't expect
type of thing.
Baseball players to have the greatest knowledge when a slump buster, because you can't get a hit, you go out and nail a fat chick. That was Mark Grace's.
That's the famous old thing. Yeah.
That's what you do to get a hit. What?
Baseball players are weird, man. They did a thing that they used to, I don't know, probably not now, but old school back in the day, they would do something called beaver shooting.
What is this?
Which was finding women in the crowd or anywhere that either were, you could see up their skirt, or they had cleavage showing, or in hotels, they would go up to the roofs with binoculars and try to look in windows to see women undressing. These were grown men. Like, guys were known as guys like, oh, this guy's got traded on the team. He's a good beaver shooter. We like this guy. Like, literally, that's what it was. Like, half of your social status on the team was if you could look up women's skirts. It was fucking perverted and weird.
The new outfielder's great because he memorized the floor outlay. He can tell you every section and where the tits are.
In that Ball 4 book, they would talk about this one particular hotel they loved because the way the hotel was, you could get on the roof and see in windows.
Wow.
So he said on the Yankees, him and Mickey Mantle and all those guys would go, Mickey, famous, huge idol of millions,
one
and
of the worst
rich
people
guy.
ever.
Oh, terrible person too, Mickey, complete asshole.
Complete piece of shit.
Treated kids like shit. He was a total asshole. Fucking, but he would be on the roof going, oh, check out down there. Look at, then they'd all pass the binoculars around. Guys would have beaver shooting kits. Because they would go under doors and like with little mirrors and try to see women in their hotel room changing. Literally, they had plans where they'd have a guy with a lookout. They'd have change on the floor in case anybody turned the corner. They'd act like they were picking up change.
Wow.
They had it all planned out, dude. It's fucking nuts.
The same shit some dude got sued for by Aaron Andrews over.
One guy would he had a drill thing where he would drill holes in the walls of hotel rooms, of adjoining rooms to see women. I'm like, this is all criminal behavior.
Through
all
the
of this.
eyelets of like the painting in the room.
Everything he's doing is a felony. Everything. So it's ridiculous.
Way to go, Mark Grace.
Way to go. Yeah, let's blame it all on Mark Grace, I think.
I'm sure he's fine with it. He doesn't give a shit. That guy doesn't care about anything.
No. I don't know when this practice ended, or I know in the 70s it was still going on.
Yeah.
Because I remember in Sparky Lyle's book he talks about it too. He just mentions it in passing, beaver shooting, and I'm like, holy shit, that's the late 70s it's still going on. So we know that. So he ends up leaving, leaves England here in 1999. January 14th, 99, he signs with Benfica, I don't know, in Portugal, a Portuguese team for £1 million. This is Sport Lisboa e Benfica. Okay, I don't know how the fuck that works. They're Lisboa, like Lisbon. Okay. They're from Lisbon. That's where they're based, Lisbon, Portugal, and they have nothing but lesbians on the team. They told Gary he has to pretend to be a woman. He was like, I'll do it for £1 million. I'll do a Tootsie. Let's do it. So I guess they're like a Premier League team in the Portuguese football system. So they're a top tier team. He was the backup choice apparently after they tried to get some other guy, Ole Luzuni. Ole, O-L-E-H. Oleg. In another language, who knows if it's Oleg in that language? I don't fucking care. It doesn't matter. Anyway, he kept getting injured in Portugal.
That could be Gary there. We don't know.
That's what I mean. I assume it's Gary. You're right. It's Gary. Everybody in soccer.
It's Portugal Gary.
It's Portuguese Gary. Hey, Lisbon Gary. How's it going? So he ends up 6 days after getting there. He sprains his right knee and has a rupture of the joint capsule in his knee, and he's out for 2 months.
Oh, my God.
So he's there for 6 days, and he's injured already, Gary Charles. He finally makes his debut when they lose 3-0 against another team in March, and he only plays 3 more games and scores 1 goal, actually, in the 4 games he played.
That's great.
Hey, look at that. And then he's sidelined again due to a sports hernia, which is
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's bad.
I looked at because they wrote it as due to pubalgia. This is like the medical term for it.
It's something bulging.
Yeah. So I looked it up and I'm like, oh, sports hernia, otherwise known as a hockey hernia, hockey groin, which I think is a hilarious.
Hockey groin.
I got the hockey groin.
It's in your belly.
Yeah, weird. Gilmore's groin. Yeah. How bad was this guy's fucking groin? Like his groin is shit. We got to name a whole disease after him.
Lumpy dick. Let's just call everybody Gilmore.
Or quote groin disruption. I think that's the best one of all of them. I think that describes it perfectly.
Good God,
that's a groin disruption. So he's injured there.
You've seen it, obviously.
Yeah, it's not good. It's a bad injury.
My grandfather had a double one for 30 years before he finally went.
Back in the day, they used to just let it go.
The grossest thing I've ever seen.
It's nasty.
It's your guts hanging out of your belly.
You got to poke that back in there.
And he'd do it.
Yeah.
Watching TV, he'd be like, "Look at this! It fell out." And I was like, "What?" And I'd look, and it looked like just like a tumor, and he'd just push it back in.
That's your intestines. So
that was what you ate last night.
Fuck,
that
man.
was gross.
See that pork chop? So he spends the entire summer recovering. He's put on the transfer list by the manager Jupp Jesus Christ, Jupp Hankins, Hankins, Heynckes,
Gary.
Fucking Gary, or Jupp in his country. So he ends up
Jerry,
which is Gary for over there. So he ends up leaving there. He heads back to England. He ends up with, which is what it was described as his home team, kind of around the area of West Ham United. Not West Ham, West Ham, two separate words, actual ham.
Perfect.
West Boiled Ham United.
Because that East Ham is a real piece of shit.
Oh, you don't want to play for them.
Everybody to know how great our ham is over here.
Our ham is much better.
We make the best ham.
We're not North Ham, don't get me wrong.
No.
I mean, fucking, it's hard to compete with that, but we're no East Ham. I'll tell you that shit right now.
We do put cloves and pineapple on it.
You know how it goes.
Right. Delicious.
It's pretty good. Glaze, it's not bad. So he ends up there. 1.2 million pounds he makes off of this. So he's still getting paid somehow. He hasn't fucking played in years, and when he does play, he's not that great, and he's getting paid millions of pounds for this.
Money.
How in demand are your soccer players over there?
He just gets to drink beer all day.
Pretty much.
What a life.
That's a life he's got. He's also loaned to Birmingham City for 3 appearances there also.
Okay.
I guess they weren't using him for a minute, so you guys can grab him for a second. He ends up appearing in West Ham in 3 years. He has 5 appearances and no goals.
Wow.
But he also made 1.2 million pounds.
That's incredible.
That is awesome.
Can you imagine not scoring a single point in the NBA?
Only 5 times, too, you had to run around? Fuck, dude. I would so do that.
Appearances. Not even the whole game.
No.
Unbelievable.
It doesn't say you have to play a certain amount of time.
Ridiculous.
Okay, January 24th, 2001. He ends up, the police are looking for him.
Oh boy.
He ends up finding them eventually, or they find him, or a little of both. They're interested in talking to him because his 70,000-pound Mercedes is found abandoned after a car crash.
Oh boy.
So they're like, well, this is a problem. Did it get stolen from him? Did he crash? What happened?
A very expensive car.
It's a very expensive car. Yeah, it's a nice fucking car. He voluntarily later on shows up at a London police station here. It was left with its lights on and keys in the ignition. Just going.
Usually indicates it wasn't stolen.
That's lights on, keys in the ignition. After he got in a fucking accident with another car. He got in an accident, not like he hit a wall and walked away. He got in an accident with a red Ford Sierra on High Street. I don't know what a Sierra is in British because they have different names.
They do.
And on High Street in Hornchurch, Essex, the police said they had to continue to investigate the incident, and it took a while for him to turn himself in. Once they said they were, looking for him, he's like, shit, I can't just get away with this. They said
it's a Ford Sierra. That's mixing 2 American vehicles. GMC has the Sierra. You can't do that over there.
They're like, it doesn't. Your copyright is only good for America, assholes. A spokesman for Scotland Yard said, quote, "It was a minor collision. They both stopped, and then the Mercedes drove off again, and the Sierra followed him for a short way. Now, what he did was the Sierra followed him, so he stopped, tossed." This is awesome. Tossed the other driver his keys at this point. Then he ended up getting them back and putting them in. Right. So tossed the other driver his keys and saying that he was a bank robber on the run.
Oh boy!
And they're like, "No, you're not." And he's like, "Okay, fine."
We've seen you play in 5 games this year, sir.
Yeah, they said, "quote, the driver in the Mercedes then ran off." And that was that.
In the BMW.
Ran.
It was a Mercedes or was it the BMW?
A Mercedes.
Okay.
He's always got a Mercedes. Crashes multiple Mercedes.
Oh boy,
that's his brand.
How great would it be if in England like Ford F-150 is the Ford Sierra?
It probably
like
is.
The GMC F-150.
They're like, you motherfuckers. You know what you're doing. We can't sue them.
Everybody shifts them around.
Yeah, that's awesome. So July 29th, 2002, he decides that it's over and he's going to retire.
He's had enough.
He's done. He's had enough. He says, quote, I never fulfilled my potential. Whether that was the drink, I don't know. I also had a lot of injuries. I never liked being in the limelight. It wasn't for me. I came from a council estate in East London, which is the projects, basically. The money kind of thing embarrassed me. When I was at West Ham, I was drinking a lot more. Really, I wish I'd sat down with manager Harry Redknapp and told him how I was feeling.
Can I tell him that I'm not embarrassed by the money?
No.
You can't handle it, sir.
Yeah, I guess it's, he's a humble kind of a guy.
Yeah, that could use it.
We could, you can patreon.com/crime and sports. Head on over to PayPal and make a one-time donation of as much of that as you'd like to drop in our account.
We will not be embarrassed to take all of that.
I'm not embarrassed to pay my bills at all. Just great.
You know what is embarrassing? When they call you and you have to explain when you're going to pay.
That
shit's embarrassing,
sir. So if you're embarrassed, pass it on to us. So in his career, he has 216 appearances and 8 goals. That's total. In the Premier League, he had 3 goals and 8 assists total in all of his time there. Not terrific.
Not huge numbers.
No. And he says at this point, too, this is 2001, too, his life is fucking falling apart. His wife, Michelle, or his girlfriend, Michelle, left him after 12 years.
She's had enough.
He has 3 young boys. She takes all 3 of them with him.
Oh, no.
With her. She didn't leave a few behind. He said he missed his boys like crazy. At this point, too, he sets up a company selling windows.
Oh, no.
I don't know what that's all about, but it doesn't work out. Apparently, we'll talk a little bit more about it. Apparently, there was a manager that was kind of embezzling money, or there was some problem with he got fucked over in the window business.
Hired a friend.
He hired a friend, I'm sure. Yeah, or a nephew or something. He said also his stepdad, I guess, died of emphysema around this time.
Okay.
And he said that meant the world to him. And the guy, he said he died in his arms. He said after that, the drinking got so bad that I'd wake up in the morning with the shakes and I would need a drink to stop them.
It's called alcoholism.
That's real hardcore alcoholism, though. That's like, ooh, boy, it's like the Kingpin thing.
Yeah.
Where he's throwing up. He's like, are you drinking again? He goes, I get sick when I don't drink.
Right. This is the problem.
That's where he's at right now. Yeah. He said in the afternoon, I'd go to the quietest pub in town, sit on my own in the corner and drink until closing time. Yeah. Sometime I'd wake up in a police cell because I have something I couldn't even remember.
Oof.
So he's going into a real dark period of unfulfilled potential, career over, losing that status, at the same time losing his family and everything else. When everything he's touching is turning to shit now from a guy who everything was kind of gold before. This is tough. And this is so common when athletes' careers are over. Yeah. The divorce rate for them in like the first 2 years of retirement is so high because that relationship has never worked like that of you being home all the time.
Not a huge paycheck coming in anymore. Yeah. Now it's a fixed income.
It's a fixed income.
Now we're stuck where we're at.
So and you have to deal with my shit. Right. And I'm not on the road 6 months a year either.
And I'm not out getting strange pussy all the time. Yeah, so now I'm stuck with yours.
Exactly.
And you don't want to give it to me the way that the road gash does it. Yep. So now neither of us are happy.
There's a standoff here. Right. We have a problem. So, May of 2003.
And listen, the beaver spotting has slowed down.
The beaver shooting, it's just not what it used to be. No. Let's just say. It's just not. I have my binoculars, but now it's a lot creepier than.
We're staying in fucking places that I can't see anything.
If a bunch of guys did it together. I know that was considered like just a boys will be boys thing. Right. Boys will be peeping Tom fucking. That's so weird.
I'm standing on the roof of the roadway inn, and all I see is the inside of the bowling alley where those tits I don't want to see.
Yeah,
I don't want to see those.
No, I don't think so. Not at the bowling.
This beaver shooting has really gone downhill.
This is a terrible beaver shooting place here. It's league night too, so it's not.
This is bad.
It's really bad on league night.
The only tits are dudes' tits. This isn't good.
They're big. Yeah. They are big. I'll give them that.
And I got to try to look at them through an Amana sponsored shirt.
Not helping. So
a shirt that says Whirlpool on the big fat man tit.
But when he goes for the spare, they do swing. I'll say that.
They are pendulous.
They make me a little excited. So May of 2003, he's got a rental car and he abandons it. on the road, on a slip road, which I have no idea what the fuck that means, but on a road.
Slippery road?
Nope, just slip road. Not a slip. You're like, slippery? Nope.
No, it's England. It always fucking rains.
Those letters do not appear on this word. It's just slip road. I don't know. Maybe that's like an on-ramp. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But he ends up refusing to take a breathalyzer test after this, which you shouldn't do. Mm-hmm. He flees the vehicle, which is found off the A448 in Worcestershire with their amazing sauce. Now, this is the one here. This is fucking amazing.
So good on a filet mignon.
Oh, the best. There's torn up money in the car that he leaves behind, and an empty bottle of vodka in the footwell, and he ends up being arrested nearby in a he just walked around nearby.
Did give away whose car that is.
Yeah.
Somebody's embarrassed by money. Look, also they drink like
he's ripping up money and drinking. Right. So I don't know what he's ripping up money for here. You're retired. You should put that in your pocket and save that shit. Now, September of 2003, this is a few months later, he has another incident. This is when things start to come hot and heavy for him. He leaves a pub, and you could pretty much follow his path from the pub if you had an aerial view based on destruction and things being broken and bushes being laid down and some broken glass here.
You can see Godzilla's trail through England.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, he takes his Mercedes, as this. I love this newspaper account. They said, quote, into a series of obstacles.
Oh boy!
I don't think they're meant to be obstacles. There's no obstacles on the road. They're like, hey, we'll set this up in case people want to fuck around. Right. I don't think that's how it works.
It's not like a dog park.
No, this is in Derbyshire.
Yeah.
Before swerving to avoid Derbyshire.
Right.
Before swerving to avoid cars and finally reversing the vehicle into a hedge. He apparently knocked a wall down, reversed into a hedge, ended up going up on sidewalks and pavements and just missed other cars, and then Jesus Christ. A witness earlier had spotted him pounding the convertible with his fist. He was outside the car beating his car earlier. So he was beating his car. Then he got in it and just started bashing into shit.
Was it like a Kirby? Was that what his name was?
Herbie.
Herbie.
Herbie was
Does it
the
just
bug.
do what it wants? Is that what it is?
He's mad at the car. Right. I don't think he wants him to punch it, probably. So he beat the shit out of the car, then got in it and just bashed into things. Like,
how drunk? You've been drinking and driving, right?
I don't drink really,
okay,
so no.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I do it.
I'm not a drinker.
But I've done it. I've never been so drunk that I've done that. Ever.
No, this is angry drunk.
When I'm that drunk.
Fuck this car. Bang, bang.
Fucking 10 and 2. So careful.
Yeah, he's like McNulty from The Wire. Like having to take that left-hand turn. He kept bashing into. Never mind. Fuck, I give up.
God damn it. I was so on board. I was tell me more.
Shit, never mind.
I don't get this.
He was drunk and did the same thing. He took a left-hand turn and took it too wide because he was drunk and hit like a pillar.
That'll do it.
So he looked at the car and looked at the turn and went back and tried to do it again. Hit the fucking pillar again. He's like, shit, man, I'm going to do this. And kept doing it until it's fucking ridiculous. So he does all this. They finally find him he was found slumped on the floor of his Mercedes. His car is blocking a busy road.
Yeah.
Not even off to the side of the road. No. He's just like, this is far enough, and pays like a 2-year-old who wreaked havoc on the living room and then just passed out in the corner like 2-year-olds do. Yeah. That's what he did, basically. They said that he could not stand up without assistance, that his speech was slurred, and that his eyes were glazed over. At that point, they said that he is Jesus Christ. They asked him to take a breathalyzer, and he told the officers to piss off, which is, I don't think you're allowed to do that.
It's an indicator that you're drunk.
That's the thing. If you're, you know what the deal is? Yeah.
That's more of an indicator that you're drunk than not being able to do the ABCs backward.
No, that's worse.
As standing on one foot. If you tell me piss off as an officer when I ask you for a breathalyzer, you're clearly, there's a reason that you don't want to do that.
Yeah, piss off too is like, I don't have to do shit you
fuck
want.
You.
Fucking he's just fucking angry, which is that's hilarious to me. It makes me fucking laugh that he
drunks because my uncle was this drunk. Like, this is the guy that my uncle was. I watched him in a hospital bed shaking, trying to detox from booze, and it's not a happy thing. It's fucking pathetic, and it's sad that people allow themselves to get to this position, and that he is continuing that behavior is even more fucking depressing. And now now he's affecting other people's lives.
He is. And would you like to hear how he also affected his own life?
I would love it.
And our life, but for the positive right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, He was found passed out in the car.
Yeah.
Also, all around him, torn up money.
Yeah.
And in the back seat, a pile of shit. So there's that. I was just dying to tell you that.
Beautiful.
Back seat, pile of shit.
He does not care at all.
He shit.
Yeah.
Didn't really clean up that much.
In the back seat.
And just fucking had shit all over him. So they find him.
So did he shit in the front seat and throw it into the back?
I feel like he tried to shit in the back, but it's hard to shit in the back seat of a car.
Yeah.
So he like just kind of shit some turds and then pulled his pants up, but still had shit all over him.
Jesus Christ.
So they found him all shitty, surrounded by torn up money, passed out, cold, blocking a major road in his car. This is embarrassing fucking behavior, I would say.
Yeah.
His eyes were glazed over, like they said. Jesus Christ. Imagine the people arriving to fucking find this.
No.
The police are, oh, Jesus, it's this guy.
What is that?
Jesus fucking Christ. Is that shit? My God. Did you shit yourself in there? You shit on your seat? The door is the same amount of distance. Why don't you shit out the door?
Right.
Why would you shit in your car?
That says to me he stood on the 1 foot driver, one seat passenger, and then just kind of leaned back and was like, "It'll rock it out." I swear,
shit it right out. I feel like I really got a lot of stored up. It's gonna fire.
I feel like there's some pressure behind it.
So I feel like this is clear indications that I feel like he hates money.
Yeah.
He's tearing up money.
Or
He's
maybe
beating up his car.
Maybe he was saving the money and he was like, "Look, I'll do it half at a time, and try to get the most out of these."
He could have used the money to wipe his ass. That's the thing.
Maybe that's what
and then
he's
tore
doing.
it up. No, these were clean shit-free bills. He tore shit up. So he beat up his car, tore up money, and then bashed his car all around. So I feel like he doesn't like. He's trying to avoid the trappings of.
Also, it's a convertible. Drop the top and lean over the side. What are you doing?
The other thing too, people would have saw you shitting if the top was open. So I don't know. So at this point, they arrive on the scene to find this fucking mess.
Yeah,
they pull him out of the car. They said he couldn't stand up without assistance.
Oh my God!
And his eyes were glazed over. He was a fucking disaster. All the cops were there
if I
staring
stand
at
up,
him.
My ass cheeks will slide together. I don't want to stand up.
I can't do it. He was very, very confused, too, because he didn't know what the fuck was happening, obviously, because he was shit-faced. And like he said, I wake up in jail cells not knowing what happened. Yeah. And he was even more confused when he heard a bunch of dogs barking. He's like, oh, I don't have any drugs. And then it wasn't the drug dogs. Instead, it was Bobby Colorado, animal trainer from Fredericksburg, Texas. And he says... How is it you come to arrive here? Huh? What the fuck is wrong? What are you, shitting in your fucking car? What the fuck is wrong? Listen to me, pal.
You shit-faced and shit-assed.
Listen to me. You see this dog right here? You know the last time this dog shit inside? Never. Never. You know when it shit in the car last? Never. Never once shit in the fucking car. But you are a human being with money in your fucking pocket. You're famous. You're going out there. People kissing your fucking ass. You thinking you're from Brazil or whatever the fuck they think. And you shit on your back seat. Not only that, you tear up a bunch of fucking money. Listen, guy. Where I'm from, you don't tear up fucking money. You know what I mean? You go there, you kick it upstairs maybe to somebody. No, listen, that's not. You don't know anything. You never heard that, okay? You didn't hear that. You don't know nothing about where I'm from, all right? Don't worry about it here. That's just
Fredericksburg, Texas.
I'm from Fredericksburg, Texas. You don't know what that is. I'm in England on vacation. I took my dogs over here, and you got to fuck. Never mind. I got to get the fuck out of here. Why don't you get a dog? Maybe you get your shit together. I don't know. And you cannot have one of mine though, because you'll just shit all over it or whatever. Get it drunk. Get the fuck out of here. Poof. And in a cloud of marinara sauce and dog shit, he's gone. And Gary Charles is very confused. He said, where was that accent from? One, he said he's from Texas, but it didn't sound like Texas. And why is he in England? Very confused. The whole world is upside down for him. Now, December 17th, 2003, he's facing jail about this whole thing. He's in court facing jail. They hear about how he told the officers to piss off when they tried to breathalyze him. They talk about his other problems because he had another issue in that same day. The pub thing was the shitting on. I had to get to the shitting first, but the other issue, for some reason, he was at a hair salon and shit-faced at a hair salon and terrorized the staff by kicking their doors open, and then when they locked him out, he started spitting at the windows.
Well, he was looking for a toilet.
So they obviously he needed one.
I have to shit.
So clearly I have to shit. I'll do it right here, goddammit. So they kick him out, or they call the cops, and then that's where they end up finding him.
Wow.
So they put those two together, that he's the same guy.
Shit-faced and shit-assed. That's the name of this.
That's it. Shit-faced, and I wish we could put shit in the title. That'd be amazing. So he begs the judge to spare him jail time. He says that he needs help to beat his alcohol addiction. His lawyer says, quote, he has problems with alcohol, which has greatly contributed to his actions. I'd say it's 99% of them.
It's the majority.
Yeah, he regrets what he's done and is disgusted with himself. The court now has a stark choice.
Is it because he shit on himself?
Because he shit on himself, and everyone knows that he had shit smeared all over his clothing.
He and all of us are disgusted with him.
Not to mention, you'll never get that smell out of that car. He's going to have to sell it.
We're going to have to rent that out again.
That's done. So he says he regrets what he's done and is disgusted with himself. The court now has a stark choice: send him to prison or make him tackle his addiction. He says, quote, the problems with alcohol have come about because of a number of factors that have confronted him. This is a disease. In 2003, as you can see from the litany of cases before the court, has been that kick up the proverbial. He's saying he might need to kick up the ass, is what they're saying, to get him out of this. Whatever.
I love that they're using fucking euphemisms.
Kick up the proverbial, which means that's a really cool way of saying a kick in the ass in court. You can say that in court. So American lawyers, take notice. Kick up the proverbial. Right. You all knew what we were talking about. That's pretty fucking smart. God damn it, you guys are smart over there, you cocksuckers.
Anytime your perp shits somewhere, just say he needs a kick up.
Kick up the proverbial. He had to shit out the proverbial. So, he said he's due to sentence him. He's going to get sentenced for this later on in his next appearance, which is on the 27th of January. This is just to plead guilty kind of thing. He admits to dangerous driving, failure to give breath specimens after the incident over there, and it'll be come back to court the next month after he's assessed for treatment and whatever. So January 20th, 2004, now he's in jail. You'd think he'd be on his best behavior. He's being evaluated for all his shit. He is fined 280 pounds for urinating in his cell. So I don't know why he would do that.
This guy hates toilets.
He hates toilets. He really, at least it wasn't on his bunk.
Right.
For shitting on his pillow I would have said, okay, now he's really got a problem. He's shitting on his pillow now. So January 27, 2004, is back in court. This is facing jail time now. They hear the whole thing about him and the whole incident and shit. And when you bring shit up, everybody probably just went, Jesus God, my God. So he admits what a shame.
Every time I see that on like lockup or whatever, they're like, I spread feces on myself. Stop calling it feces. That is that is not what that is. That
makes it grosser. Makes it more gross.
Human shit, sir.
Yeah.
I throw feces on the guards. No, you don't. You throw your shit at them.
And piss.
And that's disgusting.
You nasty motherfucker.
Stop that.
So for mitigation, his lawyer said that he went into decline, Charles did, after his injury. He said, quote, he received a damaging injury and his career was put on hold for 2 years. He developed an alcohol illness. They said that he was a career alcoholic. They said, his lawyer said, quote, playing football is what he was put on earth to do. He's ashamed of what he's done. He is ill. So they're just going with the mercy of the court defense here, which makes a lot of fucking sense, I would say. They said that there's too many aggravating features in this case not to jail him a little bit at least here. They said, quote, his lawyer said, whatever people think about footballers or read in the media, the plain truth is that these are people who simply want to play football and are disappointed when they cannot. Well, that doesn't mean they can shit in their cars and drive it into fucking walls and leave it in traffic.
And it was a rental. It's not even.
No, this one was his car that he shit in. Only the one was a rental.
All right.
Everything else is his personal car that he's beating the shit out of for some reason.
Even still, every time they keep saying ashamed, you know that they'll like hit the slide and it just comes up with the car full of shit.
Him with his head down, shit all up his back.
He's ashamed of himself. Click.
Can you see that? See the shame?
Crime scene footage.
They said, quote, as his career in football, his professional career ended, so he once again took up his career as an alcoholic. My God. It coincided with the breakup of his marriage to wife Michelle, and his 3 children went to live with their mother. His stepfather died, and another relationship with a woman went pear-shaped. He had set up a business to provide a diversion at the end of his playing career, but found the manager was trading fraudulently, and then that his best friend had began stealing money from him. Jesus Christ. He also said that he can't help it, basically. He's like, look at him. He's at the hair salon. He's pissing in his cell. He's got fucking problems. He's seeking help. He said, quote, with the benefit of hindsight, he is ashamed of what he's done. The 10th time they've used shame in a thing. These were symptoms of the illness that he suffers from. throw the mercy of the court. So they end up letting him go.
Really?
So he does like a couple days and they let him go on this one. They're like, he needs help, whatever. He's going to get help. Okay. Everything's fine. That's January 2004, end of January. Let's make a fresh start. He's admitted he has a problem finally. He's going to work at this out. May 28th, 2004, Jesus Christ, he grabs a woman's breast and threatens to beat her up.
For Pete's sake.
Yes.
A stranger?
A stranger.
Oh my God.
A stranger. He is sent to jail for that. He's arrested and he goes to jail, and then he ends up being sent to jail for another day after interrupting the court. Okay. He was an asshole in court. The judge finally then lets him go the next day. Lets him out of jail.
After a sexual assault.
Sexual assault and threatened to beat her up. Right. So sexual assault and threat of violence, and then disrupted court, and they were like, we think you've learned your lesson. Even though I told you 3 months ago that if you fucked up at all, you were going to go to jail. You're not going to go to fucking jail.
Oh boy.
So he's getting the soccer player leniency. Yeah, he's getting the little bump from that.
Gravitas.
The judge instead tells him, quote, hopefully you've reached the bottom. If not, let's find out what you do on the streets to be a menace tomorrow. What do you say?
Let's see where that is if this ain't it.
He promised to beat his alcoholism, and this was never going to be a problem again. Yeah. He admitted common assault and was cleared of the indecent assault. I guess that was probably the deal. Yeah. He was ordered to pay £500 compensation to the victim and £2,600 in court costs, and a 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew is imposed on him now. Okay. So now he's not even allowed to fucking go out. Right. Now he's got to be in at night. On the way out of court, what do you think?
Shit his pants.
Well, shit his pants, took it out, threw it at the reporters. Right. No, you would imagine there's going to be a lot of reporters there. Yeah. And he should two options of handling this. You either don't say shit, you keep walking, or you just go, you try to act contrite about it and you say, just working on my problems, or you say whatever. What you don't do is this, okay? This is what you don't do when you're trying to show...
On his way out.
On his way out of court, when you're trying to show contrition, this is what you don't do, especially after a judge just, against all judgment and logic, fucking let you go.
I've changed my life. I'm going to go home and work on myself.
He says, as the reporters asked him questions, quote, at the end of the day, I go back to my big mansion and your lives don't mean shit. And he got in his Mercedes and drove away.
Oh my God.
So that is as much of exactly the asshole behavior you're expecting from this guy. Right. And he displayed it in full force.
As he walked out.
Walked out of court for grabbing a woman's tit.
Right.
Yeah. And putting himself at the mercy of the court. At the end of the day, I go back to my big mansion and your lives don't mean shit.
And is the paperwork already filed?
Nice fucking guy.
That you got off? Because can they rescind that?
Well, I mean, that's not illegal, but that's just being a fucking asshole. Yeah. If he said that on the way in, the judge would have probably been like, clearly you haven't learned shit.
Right.
I'd like you to not go back to your big mansion. I'd like you to go back to our big mansion with bars in it, you fucking asshole.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel. Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from Law and Crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
And now back to the show.
Football season is upon us, and no one covers football like Podcast One Sportsnet. We've got you covered on a daily basis with the Dan Patrick Show and the Rich Eisen shows, not to mention each week you can listen to RJ Bell's Dream Preview to get the best picks from Vegas or Ross Tucker's Fantasy Feast podcast to stay on top in your fantasy league. We also have Revenge of the Jocks with ex-NFL player Martellus Bennett and even Coach Jim Harbaugh as part of the Podcast One Sportsnet team with his show Attack Each Day, the Harbaugh's podcast. So download all of these shows and make each week on podcastonesports.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts today.
There's a video online of a girl being hauled in for her drug problem and being arrested for Xanax, and the judge asks her if she's got stuff that she has that she can put up for a lawyer, and she says she has a bunch of jewelry or whatever. So he tells her she's got like $50,000 or whatever to get her bond, and she's like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "I'm serious." And then she walks away and tells him, "Fuck you." And then he goes, "No, come back, come back,"
no.
and then makes it like
I'm
150
still a judge.
or some
yeah,
shit.
I can be a dick even more.
I wish the Brits would do the same shit.
Yeah.
When he walks out saying, "I'm still going back to my big man."
At least he was outside.
How about you come to our big mansion,
the judge was sipping a brandy by then. He was in his chambers. He didn't give a fuck. He took his wig off. Once the wig is off, court's over. That's it. He's not putting it back on.
Repowder that to put him in jail.
I'm going to repowder my wig? What are you... I'm not repowder. I'm going to re-wig for you.
I will
Get the fuck out of here.
I will get powder in my brandy. No.
I already wiped off my eyeliner. I'm not going out there. Fuck it. So,
I already took the lipstick
Jesus.
off.
So early 2005, he is in, he's in a fucking argument while waiting for a cab. He's at like a cab stand type thing, like a cab.
He's going to fight over a cab.
He gets in an argument with a woman.
Oh, boy.
And he basically, she says who she recognized him, or he says who he was. I don't know if he was trying to pick her up with who he was. And she joked at him that he wasn't good enough to play for Manchester United.
Ouch.
And laughed at him.
Oh boy!
So once again, he has options of how he can handle this.
She hasn't heard of his titty assault, has he?
He could laugh.
Yeah.
No, I don't think she has. He could laugh and just be like, I guess not, whatever, and still try to whatever. Or he can be like, hey, fuck you. Right. Or he can just say nothing and walk away.
Or he could say, neither are you, honey.
Neither are you. Yeah, neither of us are, I guess. Ha-ha, and then try to get a blowjob.
We should both fuck.
I don't know. He takes a different path. This one wasn't even on my radar when I heard this of what to do. He knocks her down and repeatedly kicks her in the face and head.
That's a good way to do it.
That's what he does. He loses his mind and beats the shit out of this woman in broad fucking public in front of everybody.
Wow.
Just knocks her the fuck down and just repeatedly kicks her about the head and face.
Wow.
Basically till he's pulled off of her.
Yeah.
He's pummeling this fucking woman like she owes him money.
Look at those kicks. You think those are good enough for your team?
Huh? Goal. I got about 5 goals so far, sweetheart. Goal. I'm good enough now.
What an asshole.
I got 5 goals today. He had been warned that he would go to prison if he committed any other thing like that or failed to carry out the community service that he was sentenced to before. Sure. So you figure he's fucking going to jail now.
It's gotta be.
Suspended sentence.
No.
They're going to let him go again.
Again,
he's not going to jail. I would say it's an escalation.
Yeah.
This is the worst one so far. He actually harmed a person now.
If this isn't rock
more
bottom,
than a tit twister even.
Right.
He kicked a woman in the fucking face.
Right.
She would have loved to have her tit grabbed at that point, probably.
Purple Nurple, apart from getting my face kicked in?
By a fucking soccer player who knows how to kick?
Take the Purple Nurple in a second.
I would say so. So he's out on the streets. Now he's really got to pull it together.
Yeah.
I would think. Now he's going to stay inside. He's not going to fuck around.
Yeah.
You would think that.
Yeah.
Until December 18th, 2006.
Oh, my God.
When he's jailed again, he's out at a bar. And he gets in an argument with a bouncer, which is never a good thing. Gets in an argument with a bouncer, which you're never going to win.
Never.
There's more of them. If they call the cops, they're going to drag you away.
Right.
Stop fighting with bouncers. What he does is he threatens the doorman with a knife that he did not have.
Okay.
He says, I got a knife and I'm going to stab you. He had no
Nothing.
knife. So he's like a hand in his pocket,
Right.
like, I got a fucking knife right here, like an old-timey, put him up, pal.
He put his hand in his pocket and make a finger gun.
That's what he did. He made a finger knife. He was like, I got a knife right here, buddy. me. And they were like, okay. I'm like, what the fuck?
Did they beat the shit out of him?
Then it got broken up. He said he had a knife. So they're like, oh, he's got a knife. And then other bouncers came and cops came and arrested him. And they were like, hey, fucking idiot. You're, in a public place.
Where's your knife?
What a fucking idiot.
Right here.
In my fan.
Pointy finger.
My index. Pow. So this is a fucking mess, man. A complete disaster. His lawyer here said, quote, when he gets taken to court for this, he's an alcoholic and has been for many years. To get himself alcohol free will be a real struggle for Mr. Charles. However, he's made great strides. No, he hasn't.
Has he?
What great strides has he made?
Name one.
He went from beating up his car to kicking women in the face and threatening to stab people. That's an escalation. It's actually the opposite. The judge said, this is one of the best ones here, by the way. I love these British judges.
They're so good.
Fucking sum shit up, and they just knock you down to size and then just blow you off the fucking table.
Bye.
Take it, go. He says, this is Judge Andrew Hamilton. Let's give credit where credit's due. He says, there really does come a time when the police and everyone else has to have a rest from Gary Charles. I hope it knocks some sense into his head. You, sir, may fuck off. 12 months in prison.
Well, that's
finally
a That's
fucking year.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
I love that, by the way. Comes a time when the police and everyone else has to have a rest from you, you asshole. You're just too much for us.
We need a year break from you and your shenanigans.
Yes.
Go shit in that toilet.
There you go. There you go. He says, and let's do it in their own words here because this is just an interesting one here. He says about this whole thing, in their own words, quote, but I do think the court punished me more for being a professional footballer. I don't expect any sympathy because I've always hated people who drink drive. After all, I've got 3 boys of my own whom I adore and I want to be safe. People said I wouldn't be able to cope in prison because they think I'm a pampered ex-footballer used to living in big houses and driving nice cars. But I grew up in the tough area of East End of London and I didn't have it easy.
Yeah, but here's the thing, sir.
That's a long time ago, number one.
Yeah, but you also don't know that... I was punished because I'm no.
Yeah, I think the court punished me more.
No, it's always the opposite. You get off.
Yeah,
like when you kicked that lady in the face.
Yeah,
that was because you
got lucky. That's what I mean. You got lucky. This is not extra.
Do you not understand how
you're lucky that you didn't go to jail before.
Right.
Like you beat the shit out of a woman in public. You can't fucking do that.
Your fame saved your life enough.
Yeah. He said the first night was not so great. He was at the HM prison in Nottingham as a holding prisoner. He said he shared a cell. He had 23-hour lockdown. He was a gym orderly in jail, which he liked, he said, because he liked going to the gym, so he liked doing there. He worked in the laundry, and then he was like the kind of intro guy because he's a professional soccer player. Yeah. So he'd be the guy when they'd have new inmates, he would greet them and show them around and introduce them.
Of the prison.
Yeah, he would introduce them. He's like the trustee kind of thing, because when he's not drinking, he's a very
hell of a guy,
fine guy. Yeah, it's just when he's drinking, turns into a fucking demon.
Also, he doesn't fight women or men.
No.
So in the
that's
prison,
the other thing. He'll be fine.
He's safe there.
Yeah, no shit. He said that would help him to get to know everyone, but he said at night he was locked away on his own and he was having a lot of hard times with that. He did say there were some good guys inside. He said it reminded him of like a locker room situation, a bunch of guys making dirty jokes and shit like that. I would think so, yeah. He said there was also a guard he used to talk to all the time. And he said the guard told him that alcohol was the worst thing to be addicted to, even worse than heroin. So he told him the hardest to kick, I would assume, because lifestyle-wise.
Also, it's available.
That's the thing.
Readily.
Yeah, lifestyle-wise, if you pull yourself out of a heroin lifestyle or whatever street drug, if you pull yourself out of that lifestyle, it's hard you have to be in that lifestyle to do it. Whereas alcohol... people, just normal professional people, go out and have a drink, and so that's considered fine.
Also, I imagine if you get out of the heroin lifestyle for maybe 3 years, I feel like the turnover in that, based on getting arrested and attrition of getting shot, the people that actually organize and disperse the heroin, they become different people, and you eventually don't know any of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing,
But
alcohol, you stick with your, you can stick with.
It's pretty easy. You go to the fucking store and it's there.
You don't have to change your life to underground be an alcoholic.
Right.
He said he coped with it, and one of the people that helped him cope with it was Roy Keane, who's a guy, it was a football player that he was on with Nottingham, who became like a big famous guy. He became a very famous guy. He's an Irish guy, but he's, plays in England. He's a former player and he's a coach also. He's the most successful Irish footballer of all time, having won 19 major trophies, 17 of which came for Manchester United. He played for Manchester United, and he's the assistant manager for like the Republic of Ireland national team. So he's an upstanding dude, and apparently he wrote him a letter in prison. He wrote Gary a letter in prison. He offered him work for the team he was coaching when he got out. He offered him to stay at his family home to get his life back together. And he hadn't talked to him in years. Years. They played together, and he just saw, where he was. He says they kept in touch barely at all since going their separate ways. And so Gary said he was very surprised when he gets this long letter from a guy that he hasn't talked to.
Who's just reaching out to help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He said the letter reminisced about what good friends they'd been and what about the good times they've had. And he said in the letter, it said, quote, "But for the grace of God, what happened to you could have been me." So he realizes he sees
a lot of him in it.
He's the analog to his success.
Right.
He said, Charles said, quote, "Roy is a good mate, but he's a private person, and I like to consider that. He's a good guy, loyal. He knows what he did to me. He wrote, he came." Okay. So they were kind of, they didn't really talk about it that much, and Roy ended up talking about it a little more later. Charles said this was a hard time for him because he had tons of friends before, and then once he stopped playing football, he didn't have tons of friends anymore. He's just an alcoholic ex-football player. Nobody gave a shit about him. They just laugh at him and tell him he couldn't play for Manchester and have to beat up women while waiting for a taxi.
There's probably a lot of those in America that are NFL players.
Oh, there's tons of them. This is everybody's life here. This is athletes in general, unless they're a Hall of Fame or something like that, where they have a job beyond it. Unless it offers employment beyond it. If you just stop being in that sport, you're not an announcer or a coach or something, you just go back in there. So he said once he got out, he went to Sunderland where he would take part in the sessions of practice. Yeah. And he said he was actually decent at it. He would organize drills and warm-ups and shit like that and just do general help out shit just to keep him busy. Yeah. That's all. But while in prison, he also coached soccer in prison. Really? He said, quote, "I ran the football team and we had a game against the officers. There was this one guy who was about 20 stone and they called him Stumpy." That's heavy, 20 stone. I know that. He said, quote, "There were no shorts to fit him."
Oh boy.
He said, "Place 10 balls down and he would literally miss all of them, but he was desperate to play. For 7 weeks, he did laps of the prison. He lost 3 stone, but I told him I couldn't pick him. He said, 'I'll kill you if you don't.'" He said he was a criminal. He said he was joking, but that was the thing. He said, "So I put him in for 10 minutes. The whole prison cheered. He said it was the best feeling ever. And then he had a heart attack and died." No, he looked at his life differently when he was training. And that's what I get from coaching. It's what I miss. And we won the game 4-1 against so that's nice. And not bad.
They got a prison Rudy. That's nice.
That's terrific. They're the prison longest yard here. So he said, wow, a fellow inmate actually changed his view of drinking in prison. He said, quote, "This old bloke asked me what I did when I made mistakes on the pitch. I said I tried not to repeat them and tried to learn. He just looked at me and said, 'Why don't you apply that attitude to your drinking then?'" These words stuck in my head, which is way too simple and logical that I think he would have thought of that before. But that's fine.
That's the other thing. It's just, how is that simple of a rule fixing everything?
Yeah. Don't, mate. Oh.
When you did that, what if you didn't?
That was bad, right? What if you didn't do that next time?
Remember when you kicked that woman repeatedly? What if you didn't?
Why'd you do that? Booze, right? Okay, we're on to something. Excellent. So he said, quote,
"What do you do when you drink? Purple nurples.
Purple
That's
nurples.
My thing.
Well, kicks in the face, and then I also shit in my car.
And I also fake that I have a knife. That's a big move.
Anywhere I can shit around here, I feel it bubbling.
What a ridiculous thing.
He said, "Prison was definitely something that opened my eyes to being somewhere I didn't want to continue going. I just didn't want to drink anymore or feel the way I was feeling anymore. I had just had enough. Football is very much a closed shop, but I think it's something that needs to be talked about. Addiction does not pick a certain type."
That's true.
And that's true. He's trying to say if guys need help, they shouldn't be looked. Because a lot of times back then, or I don't know what it's like now, but for a long time in sports, if you went to management and said you had a problem, they looked at that as a guy. Now they can't depend on you. It's a weakness. They didn't. Now they don't do that really. Well, they still do behind closed doors, but they act like it's all support. But they're still like, we got to look for a replacement. He's going to fucking relapse, or he's going to Josh Hamilton this fucking thing in a minute.
Something's going to be bad.
Yeah, so he's released from prison at this point. Just released. He's doing fine. So he said, prison turned him around. He's good now.
Corrections.
Good now. Corrections.
Right.
He's released from prison. He said, quote, I felt great when I got out, and everyone said that I looked fantastic, which was mainly because I hadn't had a drink for 3 months,
Right.
which, that'll make you feel great.
Drop those LBs.
Oh, yeah. But within weeks, I was back inside again, this time for ripping off my electronic tag and going on holiday to Spain, you
What?
dumb motherfucker.
On house arrest? He went to Spain?
He ripped off his thing and was like, fuck it, going to Spain. Yeah,
There's
he's
beaches to
going
be
to Spain.
seen.
It's going. I know it's hard to believe that, but I've done some stupid things when I'm drunk. I don't ever want to go back to that. He keeps saying that, and then he goes right back to that.
He got drunk and was like, what if we went to Spain?
Yeah.
What the fuck? How do you do that?
I rip this fucking thing off. What do I look like? What's wrong with you? So he says he goes right back to drinking hard. He said, quote, in prison, I planned what I do with my life. It's common with inmates. You have finished. You had your little bit of trouble. So you think, but then it happens again and again. And you actually address the issue finally. Yeah. He said, quote, eventually I'd had enough. I woke up one day and booked myself into a clinic. It wasn't the first time, but this time I was ready. He said, when the doctor told me, I guess this was the day he went to the doctor told him he was killing himself. He said, I knew I had to stop drinking. I walked out of the hospital and said to my friend, that's it. I'm not going to do this anymore. He said he heard it before and basically, said, yeah, right. Yeah. He said this time he meant it. He said he went home. He threw away all the booze he had in the house. He even threw away all the little bottles of vodka that were hidden away and no one else knew about.
He tucked some away.
Oh, yeah, he had a secret stash. He's a
couple up his ass.
Yeah, got one up his ass, one over here. But he said he even threw away the secret stash they didn't have to throw away.
The one in the foreskin.
Yeah, that's the one there. You can fit a tiny bottle of vodka in your foreskin, I believe, probably. You're going to notice it, but...
It's going to be obvious.
It's going to be obvious.
The game will be rigged.
Definitely. So he's trying now, but Jesus Christ, it's a little late. How much have you fucked up already? Seriously, how much? This is a disaster. Yeah. He's fucked his whole life up, I would say, at this point. He threw it all the fuck
no
away.
Kids.
Well, he's got 3 kids. They don't live with him.
He doesn't see them.
They're gone. His wife's gone. He ruined his relationship.
The other relationship's pear-shaped.
Yes,
I heard that.
That's pear-shaped. That's ruined now. That's gone. Pear-shaped. I love that terminology, Brits, by the way. Again,
so ridiculous.
That's amazing. He shit on his car. He's made Bobby Colorado cross an ocean. He's fucked over a lot of people. Embarrassed Roy Keane. I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy. I do. But not nearly as bad as I feel for Gary Charles, Senior Vice President at Fidelity Investments in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Already, this is my favorite introduction to this.
This is great. Gary Charles, Ph.D.
Oh, my God. Or car shitter.
Or car shitter. Austin area, Texas. Electronical and electronic manufacturing. He's so smart in electronics, he's got a fucking Ph.D.
Unbelievable.
And he's confused with this idiot. Gary Charles, relationship builder, friend maker, web and social media strategist.
Alcoholic.
In other words, douchebag. He is in Asheville, North Carolina. This particular douchebag at Area Online Media, Gary Charles, principal consultant at Burns Sheehan. He's hiring tech recruiters. He's hiring tech recruiters for his team. Please get in touch.
Habitual purple nurple giver.
He's in the UK also, this poor bastard. So that's rough.
Jesus.
And finally, Gary Charles, a hairstylist from Philadelphia, who runs Gary Charles and Associates.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is funny because there's also a mistaken identity in Pennsylvania of mine. I don't know if you know this, but there's a lawyer with my name.
Really?
And he's actually a prominent lawyer in Pittsburgh and has done all these big cases. And it's hilarious because if you Google search our name, he's like page 5. I have overtaken your ass. He went to law school. He fucking worked hard.
Yeah.
He established a reputation. He goes to court. He did all this shit. And some jerk-off loudmouth with a fucking podcast talking shit about asshole drunk athletes has pushed you to page 8 of Google, motherfucker. So he's the worst mistaken identity, that poor guy. Or I'm his mistaken identity.
I've got one that's a bodybuilder in fucking Georgia.
That's weird.
And he is way, way down, like page 12. It's pretty sad.
This guy gets a lot of pub, too. My guy gets press.
That's a good point.
It's funny.
This guy's guy's in like tough man competitions.
That's amazing.
And he's been doing it for years. He's probably eating fucking deer antler and rubbing the cream and the clear on, and he's still.
He's got the cream, the clear, he's got the antler, he's all fucking, he's got it all on there. He's a mess.
And I tell a dick joke, and a time I tried to kill myself, and this fuck gets shafted to page 12.
I see that lawyer, and I'm like, my God, they're never going to hire him. At least no one's trying to hire him for a professional operation. This guy's like, Jesus fucking Christ.
My lawyer, let's see what he has to say about Gary Charles.
Oh, no. Shit. Oh, man. So he goes to rehab. Yeah. Okay, finally. Goes to rehab. He says, quote, my recovery is a part of my life. I'm in a good place, but you have to work at it. You can't be complacent. I have my children. I have a good job. My family are proud of me. I know what type of person I am. I'm a good lad. I've always been like that with everyone. Mm-hmm. So he gets out of rehab. He says he's training every day, lifting weights in the gym, running on the roads. He's doing everything. He says, I might even start playing again. Yeah. Calm down, Chief. Yeah. Let's chill. You weren't doing well when you were 27. How about 37, 38?
Pump the brakes.
Chill. Yeah. He says, maybe not. He says, I'm doing up my barn next to my house and I'll make sure it's perfect. I don't know if he's going to play in there or farm. I don't know what he's doing. He said, I won't let anyone take me for a ride again. But money doesn't interest me as it once did. I'd be quite happy to live in a small house again. My brother doesn't earn much, but he's with his family, and I'd swap everything, even my football career, to be as happy as he is.
Boy.
He just publicly said, my brother's a fucking slacker who doesn't make a lot of money. That's fucked up. His brother's like, what the fuck, dude? I've been supporting you the whole time. He's like, my brother's a poor bastard, but he's happy.
My loser brother seems thrilled.
Fucking loser brother's happy. Why can't I be happy? What the fuck?
He doesn't have a barn.
No barn. Thrilled.
Happy.
Thrilled. So
I'm shitting in Mercedes.
That's what I use. I'm so rich. I use Mercedes as my toilet. Wipe my ass with the bills, bitches.
Torn in half.
Torn up.
I can't even wash those and get the shit back off to use them. They're torn.
So October 2011, Charles joins Lincoln City as an assistant manager alongside a guy named David Holdsworth. So now he's starting to coach. Yeah. And this is what his friend Roy Keane wanted him to do, was start getting his coaching credentials. I guess to coach, you have to have a certain amount of credentials. They can't just hire some schmuck off the street to coach. You have to have
a pilot.
Yeah, you have to. Exactly. You need coaching. Yeah, you do. Here, they're just like, I like him.
Right.
He seems like he's got a brash personality.
He doesn't have a kid diddling background.
Yeah, perfect. Hire him. Hire this man. So next, 2014, over the next 4 years, he is the director of football at University of Nottingham for 4 years, the assistant manager at Lincoln City. Never got a full coaching job at like a paid, I guess, a professional team yet at that point. But he's working through it. November 22nd, 2015, he has a lawsuit. He's suing the advisors.
Oh, he's suing
for money because now he's broke. He needs money. He's suing the two advisors at the center of a financial crisis involving a bunch of different football players whose total losses were an estimated $100 million.
Okay.
Some financial guy got a bunch of football players to invest in some shit and took all their fucking money, basically. Like, that's happened a trillion fucking times. And sports too. That's like, they're all looking for something to do with their money.
And they're dopes.
They're looking for something flashy. They're looking for something fun.
Somebody that promises a bunch of return.
Nobody ever says, all right, I got this concrete paving business. It's pretty fucking boring, but I got a fleet of trucks and we're going to go out. We got a city contract. No ball player ever says that's great.
Don't tell me about that. Where's the car wash?
It's like, what about a strip club? What about that? What about a huge nightclub?
How about a restaurant that serves shit that I design, and we'll call it Sayow's, because that's my last name.
We'll serve it on tables shaped like me. Right. What do you say?
We'll see if that's a fucking hit. Those things never win.
No, it's not good, but that's ego, and you're used to excitement, and that's what it is here. So he's suing David McKee and Kevin McManaman. These fucking English names. Everyone's got a Mick in there. He said they were his former advisors at Kingsbridge Tax Consultancy, and his former agent, Kevin Mason, and Robert Appleby, who were former partner at Kingsbridge. Appleby, like the restaurant. He says that he claims that he's owed £600,000 following his transfer from the Portuguese club to West Ham in 1999.
Gotcha.
And this money was instead, the £600,000 that was supposed to be his, minus fees and taxes, were supposed supposed to be put in his account and instead were put into another account run by the Kingsbridge firm.
Okay.
So they basically just embezzled his money, is what he's saying. His writ says that he was, quote, promised a settlement figure from Benfica, which is the Portuguese team,
right,
to compensate him for the lower wages he had agreed to take at West Ham. He says the sum of $600,000 was agreed between Benfica and Mason, who was his agent. Charles here, he says that this is he's desperate for the money, and if someone had £600,000 that should be yours, and you're pretty broke, and you could use that fucking money. That's like $1 million. I mean, that's
for that.
I will sue the fuck out of somebody for that kind of money. He says Mason told him, quote, the good news is that your contract and deal is all agreed. The bad news is that Benfica had reneged on their agreement to pay you the agreed 600,000 sterling.
Okay.
So they lied to him and told him that the club backed out and reneged on the 600,000.
Okay.
They said, no, they'll still release you. The deal's fine. You're good there. Sign your contract with West Ham. Oh, but that $600,000, they said, sorry, you're not going to get that now. And then they took it and put it in their own fucking account.
Okay.
So that's fucked up.
And that's legit. That happened.
That happened.
Okay.
That's paperwork happened. Yeah. That's so fucked up. Charles says he fired them at that point, but then he ended up going on to the transfer to West Ham and doing the deal. According to these papers here, he talks about the alcoholism too, and he says he could use that money. The whole deal. He's just talking about, they're trying to say that the money that he's talking about was paid to him, and he's saying it's not. And it doesn't seem like from everything that he was.
Okay.
It says, quote, it is the claimant's honest belief that Mason misled him when he informed him Benfica had rescinded upon the agreement to pay $600,000. And he said that the other guy had personally benefited from the $600,000. All these guys in defense said they were asked to help secure money from people and put it into things in the future.
Yeah.
And he's saying that's what they were doing. They were saying that it was for tax planning and for future like investment planning.
Sure.
And he said, well, I didn't tell them to fucking do that. Right. You told me I didn't have that money. You didn't say you were going to invest it for me. They said that 1.05 million pounds was received from Benfica and paid into a bank account set up by Kingsbridge, which $100,000 was invested in a Florida property development on Charles's behalf.
Oh, no.
Holy shit. And later returned to him with interest, they say.
Oh.
Why the fuck would you buy land in Florida? Don't do that.
If it got interest,
it worked, I guess.
Won.
I don't know. Yeah, in the end. They add that the papers given to Charles by a former England player referred to a proposed termination payment that never materialized. So they're trying to say he's just mistaken.
Yeah.
Dude, that's $500,000 fucking difference. Yeah. I know who owes me $500,000 fucking dollars and whether I've received it or not. I would know. I would change my entire life. So I'd really know.
He hasn't made that much money to where $500,000 is like no big deal.
Like it's in the couch cushion and you can't find it. Oh, there it is. It's under there.
Now I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew I was just I couldn't keep track of all of because I have so much. I thought maybe I tore up $500,000 in that. It could happen.
Oh, I would never know how long I was there. I did kind of black out.
I blacked out so many times. Who knows how many shits I've taken and needed to clean up.
No shit, man. So this whole deal. They also say that Charles was owed 150,000 pounds of money for money paid into an offshore Kingsbridge account also from some other thing. So he's saying they stole a fuckload of money to him. I could never find how that case resolved because it was like a private thing, but I did find that. So now what he does is he runs an organization, GC Sports Care, it's called now, and this is to help footballers with alcohol problems. This is his new thing. He said, quote, footballers can have the same problems as a postman or a plumber. Millions watch them on a Saturday, but some suffer in silence. It's hard for them to own up. Will it be detrimental to their next contract? Will they be replaced? Would I have gone to my coaches and admitted my alcohol problems? No. Did I know I had them at the time? Maybe not. It's hard to think that you have a serious issue at 19. It's still seen as a weakness now in life and in sport. I'm relieved to know that I was an alcoholic because I know what I need to do to live happy, to live the happy life I have today. And so he's talking about that. He says he wants people to get their lives back. He's trying to help people. He says it's his recollection recollections and his experience being an alcoholic is important for all of this. Obviously, he said that the people that he's working with are striving and working under pressure and forget about the basics in life. He says, quote, I spoke to a barrister suffering in silence. That's an attorney for people outside of England.
I thought it was a coffee maker.
That was a nice.
I was like, why would you proclaim all that to your guy?
Who cares about the fucking Starbucks guy?
He's not even going to write your name correctly. Don't worry about it.
No shit. He said this guy was suffering in silence. Who would employ an alcoholic barrister? Like there's no alcoholic lawyers out there. Jesus.
They're all drunk.
Quote, I still don't believe many footballers would go in-house with a problem. You would rather come to my team of counselors, wouldn't you? In the hope that nobody at work would find out. So from that point of view, things haven't changed much from my day. That's the fear for many of these young lads. I deal with football agents too. They're not trained in this. They push people to us and it works.
Yeah.
So yeah, agents are basically saying, fix my fucking guy here so I can get more money for him. He said it was hard for him to accept that he was an alcoholic and it was confusing when he switched back to his normal life. He says, quote, to play pro football at the highest level, you have to be right psychologically. That is why drink is going out of the game, because they're looking after their bodies. I guess he's saying less players are drinking now. There are young players who have issues, and I want to get my point across to them. There's a lot of players suffering who don't know where to turn. He says gambling has become the new crutch now.
Of course.
They're all huge fucking gamblers. They're all making tons of money and gambling their balls off, which is common.
It makes it exciting.
It
Life is so
yeah.
fucking easy when you have that much money.
So you just, whatever. It's one of those
they're
things.
dummies.
Yeah, they're
what
dummies.
It is.
So February 2018, he says his business is building. He has a new relationship that he was building that business over the last 4 years. Sure. He said he's close to his children. He has a new relationship that isn't pear-shaped.
This is great.
He's got a good relationship with his kid. He's
got some orange-shaped things.
Yeah,
apple-shaped.
That's good. Or apple-shaped or something not with a bottom heavy.
Something round.
Something without a big bottomy fat ass.
Less pear-shaped is all it is.
So he says there's a restaurant in Derbyshire that has his family name, and he said he's the bartender there a lot of times, hanging out. He says he's like Sam Maloning it.
Is he like implying that he owns it, but he doesn't?
No, it's his family's. Okay. His family owns it. Right. He says, quote, I'm happy to be around alcohol and serve alcohol. He says it generally doesn't trouble me. So
yeah, but I mean, anybody that's
tough
deals with alcoholism will tell you never fucking be near it.
Well, especially in that capacity. And I could see him being like, generally doesn't bother me. It didn't bother him most of the time, and then he'd go on a 3-day fucking bender, so it won't bother him forever. And
51 weeks of the year.
He's just going to look and go, that looks pretty tasty. And the next thing you know, someone's going to have a pile of shit on their hood.
See you in 3 days with shit all over the place,
and a woman with Adidas marks on her face. This is fucked up, man.
Put some Samba marks in some's mouth, and then just grab titties everywhere,
all over the damn place.
I mean, he sounds like a party.
Yeah.
Apart from the violence.
Seems
kind of fun.
He gets a little crazy after that. So March 22nd, 2018, just now, a few months ago, he is reportedly in line to take up his first role and a managerial role for a football team in a non-league team called Nuneaton Town. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I think it's Gary Town.
Yes, Gary is what that is. He's apparently he watched their 2-0 win against another team, and he was ready to coach the next day. Mm-hmm. So that's nice. So that was March. June 17th, 2018, he's left his coaching job. He admitted that he found out about it through social media. Yeah. They fired him on social media.
Wow.
And it's sort of embarrassing, this whole situation. Not as embarrassing as shitting in your back seat, but kind of embarrassing. He was appointed there in March, and they think he's been replaced now by a guy named Nicky Eden, which is weird as fuck. They said he wrote on social media that he had no knowledge of his departure and no contract with the chairman. He previously tweeted to confirm that he was in charge, and then he said, wait, no, I'm not. Never mind. They fired me, I guess.
Just found out somebody named Nicky is doing my job
I guess I'm not doing it anymore. He said, quote, found out through Twitter that I am no longer manager at Nuneaton Borough FC. Not had any contract with the chairman to let me know, so I just want to say thank you to the fans for your fantastic support, to the players and staff. I wish you all the best for the future. His first game was a 1-1 draw. And so that's what he did, and he went from there. He'd been planning for the season, which would see them try to do better this year. He said that there was no mention of anything on the website. There was no anything like that. They just said that, quote, the team said, quote, the time felt right to take the next step and become a manager, and this opportunity was perfect for me. That was Eden, Nicky Eden. Didn't say shit about him.
He said it in a gangster-ass Italian accent.
Yeah.
Because I see
this
little
opportunity was
little
perfect.
Joe Pesci from Casino.
Yeah.
It's Nicky, right?
Yeah, Nicky, right? Yeah, it was Nicky. Little Nicky Santoro.
Well, you don't got to tell him. You don't got to. Just change the locks and put out a tweet. He'll get the idea.
That's right. He understands. He'll fucking know.
He won't show up again.
Make his badge not work when he goes to go in there. So they said that they're very excited for the future with this new coach. Charles just didn't understand it. So the team clarified in a statement saying that Charles' position was only informal until the end of the campaign.
Oh.
He said, quote, in light of the recent announcement of Nicky Eden as the club's new manager, we've clarified the status of Gary Charles' position with this club. Gary never had a contract and was working for the club on an informal basis to guide them through to the end of the season. We believe that the situation was clear and regret that it had led to such confusion.
Jesus.
Thinking he was a fucking head coach and wasn't. Yeah, that's a lot of confusion. We'd like to thank Gary for his time and wish him all the best in the future.
Thanks for being around. We got Nicky.
Thanks, pal. Wow. So, he says that he misses football he misses football, basically. He likes to...
I just saw the owner being like, no, Nicky brought Robert De Niro's ex-wife around. She blows everybody.
She blows everybody.
We'll keep Nicky.
Yeah,
Nicky's our guy.
Nicky's fucking staying. He's fucking staying. He said he loved his first career, but he thinks he's more suited for a second one. He said, quote, being a footballer was the best thing ever. Don't get me wrong. I adored it most of the time. He said, what did he say here? I'm lucky. I thank my lucky stars that I'm healthy and I can enjoy my life. I don't know why I had a hard time fucking reading that like an idiot. So that's what he says, that he feels like he's lucky. He said I saw Brian Little recently and he just winked and smiled. He knew what I could be like, one of the lads in my own way. But someone said to me recently that I must be sad that I don't have all that money from football anymore. He said, and I said, quote, yes, but I don't have all that unhappiness either. And he said, I don't think he believed me.
Yeah.
And that's that. So
I'm broke and don't have a barn anymore.
Broke.
I'm so happy.
I got no barn, nothing. Can't get enough of Gary Charles and his fucking mess. You can follow him on Twitter. That is at Gary Charles FRJ. He has 121 tweets. He follows 1,458 people and has 1,292 followers.
Wow.
So that's not great.
He's doing that whole follow back shit.
Yeah.
And it's not working out.
No, it's not. They're unfollowing him because all he's talking about is alcoholism.
Yeah.
Also, you can go to pickclick.uk.co.uk and you can get an Aston Villa Gary Charles match-worn shirt.
Oh.
For £150, which seems reasonable for a match-worn jersey. $3.95 shipping also. I don't know if it ships to Great Britain and many other countries. I don't know what that means. Maybe Portugal, if you're a big fan from down there.
Is there a shit-up Mercedes seat on you?
I believe there's a back seat with a shit-smeared Mercedes. Car shit pants from Gary Charles. Look at that. He's shitting them. And also, you can get an 8x10 signed picture of him just standing there, not in a soccer pose, not like playing, so he's just standing there, not even smiling. Just autographed picture of him for that, $7.99.
Standing there drunk.
That's it, £7.99, and that is Gary Charles.
Wow.
That is a crazy English drunken bastard again.
He's exhausting.
He's exhausting. That's why he said, the judge said, I think everyone needs a rest from Gary Charles. Mainly me. I needed a rest from Gary Charles after this. I'm like, trying to figure out which one. I'm like, which incident was this? Is this one? Oh, there's a different one where he tore up banknotes in a Mercedes and was found passed out on the floor. That happened more than once. Fuck, okay.
Unbelievable.
I was confused. I thought I had my dates wrong. I guess not.
Did he kick her to sleep with shit in his pants?
I think he did.
Different. Oh,
no, that was afterwards.
That's a different one.
Then he went and shot. I got it now. Okay. So if you like that show and if you like our insanity, please, like we said, go to iTunes, give us 5 stars, please. Not for our ego. It just helps out on the business end. You want to be an even bigger superstar, you can go over to shutupandgivememurder.com, buy some merch, and then when you're done with that, you can buy some tickets to a live show.
Yes.
And then if you're still just have money you want to give us for some reason, we'd be happy to accept it, and every dime counts. You can also find the links to patreon.com/crime in sports. They're on our website, and also the link to PayPal. Just use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com, and you can make a donation there, one-time deal. Also, you can contact the show at crimeinsports on gmail.com, like we said, at Crime in Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. We've combined them together.
We did.
And that gets more attention, so sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry, yeah, thanks. We had to change that. With that said, though, Jimmy, I know what I need right now.
Yeah.
It's not a drink either, like Gary Charles. You can have a couple, but I need to be hit with the list of my favorite damn people on earth. Give it to me right now, Jimmy.
This week's executive producers are Ann Spence, Jenny Lynn Bertolo, Pamela Rogers, Devin Resnikoff. I don't want to fuck that up.
No, get it right.
Rachel Smolsky. Yes. No. Yes, it's Rachel Smolsky.
Yes. No.
Or Smokesky.
Yeah.
Is it Smokesky?
I don't know.
Damn it,
well, thank you so much.
And then Ryan Hagan. Thank you guys so much for being absolute heroes this week.
You are our
you
heroes.
Guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
The remainder of heroes are David Clark, Jessica Leitke, Daniel C. with no last name, just C. That's good enough.
That's cool.
Mariah Menhir, Yvonne Abrahantes. I wanted to get that right, and I think I fucked it up.
You think? It sounded confident.
I hope so. Confident never means right.
No, not at all. But it still sounds, everyone who, except for that one person, will think you were right.
Right. Stacey Roy, Heather Rylander. She's terrific. She helps other podcasts with their research, too. She's a good person. Thank you,
nice.
Heather.
Good for her.
Gretchen
Thank you.
Oswald, Lorraine Tuxon. Yes, Tuxon. I think so. Touchson.
Touchson?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing right now.
Tuckskin.
Yeah, Tuckskin. I don't know. So, Lorraine, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Rob Roberts, Cody Hargo, Jen Bass, or Bass. It's probably Bass. Jesse Hartman. Again, the dude fucking comes through every week. He's amazing.
It's amazing.
Jenny Edwards, Kelly Robinson, and then James Fraker, a new one that keeps showing up quite a bit. Laura Souter, Jamie Pickle. That's for sure, right?
That's cool.
Kelly Higby, Kate Ives, every week with her and the other Kate, I forget her last name.
And Kelly, too.
We'll find her in a sec. Yep.
Kelly, too. Thank you.
Ashley Vietri, Jillian Tuba, Wesley Thacker, Tom Kopzinski.
Oh, nice. I like the name.
No. It's probably not right.
No, it's a solid name, though.
Sasha Medina, Christian Parrott, Carl Rogers, Ariana Folsom. She's fantastic. I got to talk to you about something with her, too. She's, whatever. She's wonderful.
We'll get into it.
Reza W. Reza
W.
Yes.
Like you won.
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what that is.
That's exactly
Somebody's
what
fucking
that
with me?
Yeah,
is that
I think they're a Cubs fan.
Maybe.
Yeah,
or it's a person.
Or
I bet it's a person, and then now we've insulted them.
Maybe.
Risa? I'm so sorry. It might be Risa. Who knows? James Lamb, Shannon Feltus. She's been around a long time. It's hard to make fun of that last name.
Yeah,
anymore.
at this point, we're just so happy to have you here.
Kate Myers, that was the Kate, I think yes, that's definitely her. Kate Myers and Kate Ives have been around for several weeks, and they're fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Marissa Oman Hughes, Martina Kunkel, Elisa Carlson, Joe Hung Lo. Nope, probably not true.
I would say no.
Probably fucking with me.
I'm going to go with fucking with us on that one.
Might be an Asian guy that's just like, you guys are dicks.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Jake LeBeer, Iana Nelson. She's wonderful in New Orleans. She's terrific. She's like a fucking bookworm that does legislation work or something like that. She's great. She's wonderful.
Awesome.
John Bowden, and that may be Bowden, but Bobby Bowden fucked your name, brother. Sorry. Lauren Demarath, Alexander Golomis. Yeah, Lauren Demarath is the one from Chicago that her name sounds like a drug. You said
Demarath.
She messaged me and was like, I get to be a drug. That's
20
great.
cc's of Demarath.
She's jacked about it.
Stat.
Alexander Golomis. Golimus? Maybe. Golimus. Azra Begovic. Under the Sea Fabrics. Every week
best
she's around.
too. Thank you.
Bunny Blush. I think that's like some sort of product too.
Okay.
Do you put blush on your bunny? It's probably a person.
I would assume it's blush that's been experimented on with a bunny.
Kelly Miller, Crystal Gennaro. She's the one that's fucking air traffic control.
Yes, she's
amazing.
cool. Thank you, Crystal.
Danielle Graham, Jenna Fairbanks, Jason Hamming donated twice. One on Patreon, one on PayPal.
Amazing.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Jamie Finch, CJ. CJ, James is a butterface. What the fuck? Why would you do that?
I don't know.
James is handsome as fuck, man. Have you seen my friend? CJ, come to a live show and say that to his face. You won't do it. I guarantee.
No.
CJ might be huge. I might start a fight right now.
That's all right.
CJ,
I don't care.
James is handsome. Fuck you. Matthew Dietrich.
Maybe his last name is James.
It's definitely maybe he's the
CJ James is a butter.
Right.
Maybe that's what he said. I have no idea.
I doubt it. He's
I
being a
couldn't care
dick.
less
This
either
CJ.
way.
Aaron Anderson, Ellie Guzman, Bryant Toole, Amanda McKelvey, Jess with no last name, Jessica Manor, Janice Hill, Karen Farnsworth, Teresa Gouland, Jason. No, it's Joshua. That is Joshua, not Jason. Joshua Doyle, Jessica Dowd, Kiko, Omar White, JD. Oh, that dude's a lawyer. Thank you, Kiko.
Thank you.
That might be a woman. No, it's Omar, middle name.
Okay, yeah.
Who knows? They might be. That might be a Wire reference. I don't even know
That's
anymore.
The thing. Yeah,
this is
who
fucking
knows?
crazy.
Jesus, it's gotten out of control.
Michelle Smith, Mike Gibson, Justin Suter. Yes, Justin Suter. Nick Eddy. Vita Muerta, who is a cosplayer and model.
Cool.
Good for you, Vita. What is that? Vita is what word? I don't know what that is in Spanish. I just know Muerta is death, which is fucking creepy. Christopher Brooks.
I think Vita's life.
Is that it? Life,
yeah.
Life and death. Boom. You nailed it. My man.
Yeah. I know Italian, so I can get a Spanish word if you talk slowly.
Yeah. Becky Pantuso, which sounds like underwear. Leah Maddox, Rebecca Doe, Charlene Ramler, Melissa Roker, Damian Palmer, fuck, how did I do this? Candace Kennedy and Michaela Thiviergi. No, it's not right. Michaela, I'm so sorry.
We tried.
I even fucking put somebody else's name in between it so that I could try and get a good running start at it, like Evel Knievel.
A little sorbet on the palate there.
Right, and I still hit the bus. God damn it. I'm so sorry. And thank you guys so much. We love you.
Thank you, folks. So goddamn much. Yeah. Really means the world to us. We get turned upside down and shaken out so often for everything that's in our pockets that it's really, really difficult. So thank you guys for helping us out and making this a thing.
You guys tell us thank you all the time for the amount of work that James puts in.
Both of us. We're fucking sitting here. It's not me.
The amount of research though, and the amount of prep that this takes, and the amount of
everything
of dedication that we do to this. So, but
thank you guys.
It doesn't matter what we do if nobody listens. So thank you guys for giving a shit, and thank you guys for supporting what we do.
If nobody listened, we wouldn't be doing a show.
That's true.
We'd be like, well, fuck this. I just concentrate on small town murder.
17 listens. Fuck that.
God damn it.
Remember
but that was a long time ago. A long time ago. That was like episode 5, and now we're at episode 129 today. So it's huge. So thank you guys so much for being there, and we love doing this. I apologize for being sick last week, but really it would have been terrible. I couldn't get it out. So thank you guys so goddamn much. Jimmy, what if you wanted to thank them, or they wanted to thank you, or you just wanted to get together in some way, shape, or form? How could they contact you?
If you want to chat of any sort, I don't give a shit what it is. You can find me at Wisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks. I appreciate what you guys send to me, and I've heard a lot from a lot of people going through tough things, and that they say we help them through it, and I really fucking appreciate that. That's really nice of you, and I just stick around, and I love hearing from you guys.
We read that shit and pass it back and forth to each other, and we're like, man, can you believe that? Yeah, that means a lot to us. We say it on Small Town Murder. We're assholes, but we're not scumbags. It's the truth, man. We really like that. If you want to get a hold of me and call me an asshole, you can do that at Jimmy P is Funny, or you can head over to whatever the fuck else and copy and paste my last name from the show description, slap it in there, and all of that good shit. But until then, until next week, that's next week. But we've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we have.
And we'll be back again. I promise you that. Live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.